Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I'm your host, Orion. Got a great show for you here today between the Minnesota Twins and the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in just a couple minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Saturday, everyone. On the left, the Minnesota Twins' very own Byron Buxton, and on the right, one of the best center fielders in the game, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Minnesota Twins. Leading off for the Twins in left field, Trevor Larnach. Batting second, DHing for Minnesota, Ryan Jeffers. Batting third, playing second base, Cody Clemens. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, Royce Lewis. Batting fifth, playing third base, Brooks Lee. Batting sixth, playing center field, Luke Keeschel. Batting seventh, catching today, Victor Caratini. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, Ryan Kreidler. And batting ninth, playing right field, Austin Martin. And on the mound for Minnesota, 3-5 record, ERA of 4.73, Connor Prelip. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at second base, Cole Clutch Young. Batting second, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting third, playing right field, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. Batting fifth, DHing for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting sixth, playing first base, Josh Naylor. Batting seventh, catching today for Seattle, Mitch Garver. Batting eighth, playing third base, Weston Wilson. And batting ninth, the phenom rookie shortstop, Colt Emerson. And on the mound for the Mariners, our number one, our ace, 8-6 record, ERA of 3.44. It is Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. Injury update for the Mariners. We already had JP go to the injured list, and now we have Luke Raley going to the 10-day IL. This team cannot catch a break. Left forearm strain, and they're going to bring up Stuart Fairchild from the Tacoma Rainiers. And it seems like, depending on what happens here in the next few days, if we're going to end up being buyers or sellers. But it sounds like not only it was rumored, Castillo and maybe Raley, but now Raley going to the injured list more than likely will not be traded. So right now it looks like Luis Castillo, Emerson Hancock, and even as of this morning, based off the beat writers, it sounds like George Kirby and Randy Arozarena could possibly be moved. And I wouldn't mind if we end up getting rid of Randy. Obviously, we know he's a great bat, and if he ended up playing just DH, it would be just fine. But, the lack of hustle and effort on ground balls in left, it doesn't even out when he's out in left field, even though he's good at pop-ups. And he's a great hitter, but again, as far as, hustle and effort on those ground balls, never throwing lasers, only lobs, and guys are scoring from first and second base on routine plays. So again, I don't really know if I want to get rid of George Kirby, but again, if we can get a big haul, we already have Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan waiting in the wings. I'd rather get rid of Castillo and Hancock first and hang on to Kirby. But again, if we can end up getting a Mason Miller, type of player, or a Seiya Suzuki type of player, or a couple players, on that level for a George Kirby, then I would be willing to do it, even though he is one of the better guys on the team, and we know Wu has been struggling on the road, and Bryce Miller is still pretty good. So we'll have to kind of wait and see, what they decide to do. But that is is the news, obviously as of this morning, that possibly teams are calling the Mariners for George Kirby and Randy Arozarena. So again, I would gladly get rid of Luis Castillo, gladly get rid of Hancock, gladly get rid of Randy, but I wouldn't want to get rid of George, unless we end up getting players that are on that level, and we'll see what happens. A lot of injuries. And we got SummerSlam as well coming up later this afternoon, which I'm excited for as well. First pitch from Gilbert to Larnach. Pitch is high and inside with a slider, 87 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Jonah in the building. What's good? How are you? 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Larnach. Yeah, and again, this has definitely been the most challenging season probably for the Mariners with a quality lineup in a long, long time, especially since going to the ALCS last season against the Blue Jays and losing in Game 7. A lot of expectations, but we've never had this many injuries before, on top of poor management by Dan Wilson, on top of, poor, pitching, starters, and bullpen. And again, we just got to see how the chips fall as the trade deadline is looming away in a few days. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and great job there by Logan Gilbert getting the job done. And again, he is our ace, our number one, 8-6 record, ERA of 3.44, giving us a little bit of electricity early. Good job. Down goes Trevor Larnach, and that is 1 away. Next up is Ryan Jeffers. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First pitch into Jeffers is high and inside, but on the line for a strike, 0-1 count. On deck is Cody Clemens. Shout out to all the new subs, all the regulars, all the mods, and the female audience as well. Everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. 0-1 pitch. Four-seam fastball popped up and out of play. Four-seam fastball, 99 miles an hour, high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the first inning, 0-0, Twins and Mariners. But since the American League is so bad, you never know, what could happen. Obviously, the schedule in August is brutal. It's probably one of the most challenging schedules I've seen the Mariners have to play in quite some time. And the schedule gets quite a bit easier in September. But how many games are we going to be down by the time we get to September is the question. 0-2 pitch, low knees, 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Jeffers. So we'll see if we end up being buyers or sellers. But, again, if we can end up getting rid of a few of the pitchers and we can call up Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan and get rid of Randy and get, some of our farm guys up, as well as maybe getting a few guys from other teams to join the squad, the team could do better, even if they're more of in a seller market rather than a buyer market. But we'll have to see what they do get in return and if they decide to call guys up or not. Popped up into left. Randy is there. And that is 2 away. But again, I wouldn't mind getting rid of Castillo, Hancock, and Randy. And I would only want to get rid of George Kirby if that means Cade Anderson, gets called up. And on top of that, we end up getting some really good pieces. Because let's be honest, George, even though he's had an up and down season this year, overall, he's normally in the top 2 or top 3, with Gilbert. Obviously, Wu was our best last year, but he's terrible on the road this year. And hopefully he'll get better, obviously next season. But again, George right now, normally is one of the top 2 or top 3, typically with, Wu and Gilbert or with Miller. So again, if we're going to get rid of some guys, I know Sloan and Cade Anderson in the future can be a part of the starting 5. And they got the stuff. And, I really do believe that they can pitch at the big league level, even though they're not in AAA yet. Obviously we know that, Cade ended up winning a natty without Wu, and Sloan has got a lot of potential. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. Back-to-back sliders there by Logan Gilbert on Cody Clemens. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the first, 0-0, Twins and Mariners. All day in the building. What's good? Love this one, and again, I've been kind of waiting for him to come up with some, more hip hop, kind of sports themed music. And, sometimes, he'll go into his own kind of creativity process, and some are going to fit the stream and some aren't, but as soon as I listened to this one, I knew we had to have it. 0-2 pitch, and that is a ball to Cody Clemens, Roger Clemens' son. But again, it's going to be very interesting, regardless if we're buyers or sellers at the deadline, getting rid of Castillo, getting rid of Randy, and if we can get rid of Hancock and Kirby and get something good in return, I wouldn't mind. But especially Kirby, you don't want to just get rid of him for chump change. We need to make sure we're getting Mason Miller, Seiya Suzuki type of talent in return. Otherwise, I would say no. Kirby is, very valuable to this team. So if we're going to get something for him, it's got to be worthwhile. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Clemens. And I mentioned earlier, Luke Raley hitting the injured list. I've never seen a team so unlucky with injuries. We just had JP go to the 10-day IL with wrist soreness, and then we got forearm issues there with Luke Raley. So, again, it's just not getting any easier. Poor play, poor managing, poor pitching, poor bullpen, lack of hitting, and then having almost every star on our team getting injured besides Cole Young and Colt Emerson as far as young guys. It's just been a very challenging season. And we will get Brash, Cooper Criswell, and Vargas in August back. But, again, we will see what happens at the deadline. 2-2 pitch, popped up. And out of play with that splitter, high and inside, 85 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Clemens. Blue Jay in the building. How are you? Oh, yeah, Danny. There's a lot of teams that I think that want Randy and want Kirby. Obviously, Kirby is a hot commodity. Hancock as well. Castillo, not so much. And I know Luke Raley was rumored to maybe be paired up with Castillo or Hancock in a deal. But since he's going to the IL, that's probably off the table. Anybody that ends up getting injured before the deadline typically will not, be traded in a deal in most cases. Sometimes they will, but in most cases they won't. Because most teams don't want an injured player going into the deadline. 3-2 pitch. Hard hit ball towards first. Naylor flip to Gilbert. Toe tap on the bag, and that is out number 3. Great job there by Logan Gilbert. And even though Logan started off as our season day 1 opening day starter and starting off 0-2, we obviously know what happened in that Guardian series, but he's bounced back. 8-6 record, and he's 8-4 since the beginning of the year. ERA of 3.44, and again, he is our number 1, even though Bryce Miller was in that category for a while, but he's kind of come down to earth, and we'll find out what we do with Castillo, Hancock, Kirby, and Randy Arozarena. And again, I wouldn't mind, dealing. It just depends on who we get. And I know that the value for Castillo and Hancock won't be as high as Kirby or Randy, but obviously Randy sets a bad example for his lack of hustle. And again, we got guys in AAA and other teams that could fill in the gaps. Yeah, Randy's been a good hitter, but again, that lack of defense and hustle is just maddening. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, my favorite player on the team, had a home run last night, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. We need more players like Cole and Julio that can play offense and defense and have pride doing it. Batting second, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Now, if Randy was our everyday DH, I would say keep him on the team. But if he's going to continue to play left field, yeah, we definitely need to get rid of him. And batting third, right fielder, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We've got to win. 11 subs to go to 24,500. We're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And let's take a look to see how many likes that we need here early on to get to 100. And after this game is over, obviously we transition. I will be watching SummerSlam Night 1. And obviously Night 2 will be tomorrow. And that will be exciting as well if you're a wrestling fan. All right, we're at 14 likes. 86 to go. First pitch to Cole Young, hard hit ball down the right field line, and my favorite player on the team is going to get a stand-up double. Let's go. And that's maybe the only bright spot of the year is Cole Young. Should have been a reserve all-star with Ernie Clement. His numbers are on par with Clement and Ozzie Albies in the National League. And honestly, I think that he's going to end up being the starting second baseman in the all-star game year in and year out sooner than later. He is that good. Great job there by Cole Clutch Young, doing clutch things over and over again. Great job. Love him. Batting second, left fielder Randy Arozarena, and then on deck in the 3-hole, right fielder Dominic Canzone. First pitch to Randy, high and away, 1-0 count. And it's really like the only way that I think fans would be okay keeping Randy, is that if he only DHs and that's all he does while he's on the Mariners, never plays left field, or center or right, just the pop-ups are good. His hitting is good, but just the lack of hustle and the lack of, having any type of urgency with ground balls. And once he gets the ball, he never tries to get it to the cutoff man fast enough. So guys are scoring from first and second off routine plays. And that's unacceptable. That lack of behavior, and the lack of responsibility by the coaching staff for not calling him out. It's ridiculous. Get rid of Dan, get rid of Jerry, get rid of Randy, get rid of the front office, get rid of the manager. And, Randy, he's going to want to play left field. He's got to go. 3-0 count here to Randy Arozarena. 3-0 pitch, high and inside, and Randy taking a walk. Good at-bat there for Randy Arozarena. And we know Randy is an all-star year in and out, year out. So, again, there's going to be teams that definitely would want him. It's just that, again, I'd rather have a guy that, ends up hitting less home runs, that is more efficient as being an offense and defensive player, rather than a guy like in the NBA that only wants to score but doesn't want to play defense, and that's exactly who Randy is. Next up in the 3-hole, right fielder, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone, having a nice breakout year for us as well. On deck is Julio Rodriguez. First pitch right down the middle, taking a strike to Dominic Canzone. Slider 88 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Let's go, Dom. And regardless if we're buyers or sellers at the deadline, it could actually help us win either way. Just getting rid of some of the weak links, calling up guys from the farm. But typically the Mariner organization calls up the wrong guys, and they're trying to, wait it out and be too patient with our farm guys, which is a little ridiculous. It seems like they're unserious a lot of the time when we have talent that we could call up, and then they just call up some random, and that happens pretty often, or they choose the wrong guy like Garver over Pareda, but again, Cade Anderson, Ryan Sloan, Lazaro Montes, Michael Arroyo, there's a lot of guys that could help this team win like right now. Pitches low and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Prelep to Dominic Canzone. 3-for-5 record, ERA of 4.73 for Connor Prelep. And, the fact that Dom can hit home runs off of lefties, again, that whole righties for lefties, lefty for righties, that's just bad managing by Dan Wilson. And sometimes, analytics and statistics will say some things, but sometimes you just got to go with the best players. Imagine if we had Luke Raley and Dominic Canzone starting the whole year. Yeah, we would still be bad, but we probably would have a few more wins, rather than going with Rob Refsnyder, Mitch Garver, Connor Joe, and those other type of guys that more times than not did not step up in that situation. 3-2 pitch, low and away, and we get a little bit of a mini meltdown here by Prelep, and back-to-back walks there by Randy and Canzone, and we got bases loaded with no outs, and this is a good sign here with Julio Rodriguez. We had this happen yesterday, and Cal Raleigh ended up getting a ground rule double, and we had a 2-0 lead. We got a home run by Cole Young, but again, we didn't do anything after that, so we need to make sure we're pouring it on early and often. Let's go Julio Rodriguez, and then on deck is Cal Raleigh. And normally I want Cal around the 6 hole until he starts to prove himself, and he has started to prove himself. So moving him to the 5 and sliding Naylor to the 6, who has been on and off, I think was smart. And normally Dan is not making too many smart moves, but you got to be able to adjust as the season goes based on who is doing good and who's not. And we should be getting Brandon Donovan back any day now. And that's like almost a trade, right? Like getting someone new, even though, we obviously got him in the offseason, but we only had him for like a month and a half. And honestly, he was a top 2 player at the time before he got hurt. So hard hit ball right up the middle and bobbled. Everybody safe. 1-0 Elms. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, baby. 1-0 Mariners. And I think also just the fact that, certain guys have been called out now, that not only, Luis Castillo and Emerson Hancock, possibly could be dealt, but now George Kirby and Randy Arozarena might end up being, traded possibly. So again, everyone is going to, hopefully step their game up. You got to, not knowing if you're going to be on this team or somewhere else. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go. Great job there by Julio Rodriguez. And again, scoring early and often is actually, something that we've been lacking, right? Obviously on the road, we're terrible, but at home, we play good ball and the pitching is good too, and we're going to have a nice, road trip here. Got to make up for, that Ranger series and only winning 1, Dodger series only winning 1. We've had a lot of injuries. Now we got JP hurt. We got, obviously Luke Raley on the IL this morning, but again, if Donnie comes back and we can make a few moves for Castillo, Hancock, Randy, and Kirby, this team could really turn around. Even though we're losing some talent, we could be gaining talent and maybe even calling up guys like Cade Anderson, Ryan Sloan, Lazaro Montes, or Michael Arroyo, even though the Mariners organization probably wouldn't call them up, but it could make the team better. You got to have a nice blend of youth movement, as well as, some veteran presence. So 0-2 pitch popped up and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes with bases loaded and no outs. 1-0 M's. Let's go. Yeah, DePoto's got to go. If you like DePoto, he's terrible. So is Dan, and Randy needs to go too. 0-2 pitch, big, swing and a miss, down goes Cal. Yeah, Randy might be the best hitter, but how many runs does he give up on the daily? For every hit that he gets and a home run he gets, he gives up 1 or 2, it seems like, almost every game. It's just not worth it. If Randy was the everyday DH, then I say keep him on the team. But if he's going to play left field, no thank you. Again, I've never seen a player so talented be so fucking lazy. It's like Robinson Cano all over again, but worse. First pitch right down the middle, takes a strike looking to Josh Naylor, 0-1 count. And what does that say, to the other players? What does it say to the fan base that, that you can just be lazy and it's okay? And that's on the management too, to not call Randy out just because he's an all-star year in and year out. I think in his head, he probably thinks he's the best player on the team and he can do whatever he wants. And honestly, if no one's calling him out, they're letting him. And that's unacceptable. If we could actually get a good throw to the relay man, maybe we could actually throw guys out at home instead of having guys score from first and second every time there's a ground ball in Randy's area. Brutal. 1-1 pitch popped up towards first and foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Prelep to Naylor. I mean, think about how many games where the bullpen is fucked up and it's gone to Randy and then we end up losing the game. I mean, look at last night. And it feels like we're calling out Randy almost every game. And it's like, I would call out anybody, that's doing that. It's not just I'm trying to pick on a guy, but if he continues to fuck up every game, I can't let it slide, especially when it's due to lack of hustle and effort, and he's a great hitter. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's a great teammate. And again, he might be boys with Julio and Andres Munoz, but as far as team wide, seems kind of like a selfish player in my opinion. I definitely would rather have someone else in left field. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Naylor, and that is 2 away. Next up in the 7-hole, catcher Mitch Garver. First pitch to Garv, popped up and out of play. Well, pump the brakes, Josh. Jerry, best in the league? Not a chance. You don't think there's anybody else that could end up bringing in pitchers? I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look to see who's good and who would be a good fit on the Mariners. To act like Jerry is the sole reason the pitching staff is great is ridiculous. You know, it's obviously a team-wide organization type of thing. And then think about how many times that they call up the wrong guys. You know, we can develop pitching, and obviously everyone knows that, but think about how many times we have guys that go to AAA and we call up the wrong guy. That's on Jerry too. You know, so yeah, you know, he can end up developing pitchers, but what about the overall landscape? We could get somebody better than Jerry and Dan, no question. I mean, unless you're a fan of mediocrity, I sure as hell as not. You know, I want to be able to go, you know, to the World Series. I want to be able to go the distance. You know, to me, honestly, Jerry is overrated, and Dan is terrible like Scott Service. You know, they're the same kind of guy. Too soft, no emotion. You know, not very good baseball IQ. You know, we need to retool and revamp this organization. 1-2 pitch. Hard hit ball towards third and out of play. And again, you know, a lot of us have been watching since the 70s and the 80s. You know, and not every fan has been watching for, you know, a couple years or 5 years or 10 years, you know, or even during the Ichiro era, you know, but if you've been a fan for 30, 40 years, we've seen it all, you know, not just the short term, but we've seen the long term. 1-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. I mean, I want to be able to have, you know, a GM and a manager and an organization, you know, that understands talent. Johnny Pareda should be on this team over Mitch Garver, right? You know, there's certain things that it's easy, you know, to see, you know, from the fans, but they clearly, you know, don't, you know, do it the right way. And that's on Jerry. You know, again, they're way too patient, you know, trying to stretch guys out forever. Like if we have issues, you know, in the bullpen, you know, call up Sloan, call up Kate Anderson, have them help the team. You know, that's what, you know, good management does instead of calling up randos that aren't even going to help the team or bringing up guys that are terrible. You know, like JP goes to the IL and they bring up Leo Rivas, who's terrible in AAA this year. You know, there's Michael Arroyo, you know, there's Lazaro Montes, there's better options. That's the type of thing that I'm talking about, besides just developing pitching. You know, he's not very good on a day-to-day basis. Pitches low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 2 outs. Come on, Garv. 2-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes from Prelip to Garver. And then Luke Raley goes to the IL and we bring up Stuart Fairchild. You fucking kidding me? You know, like that's the guy that you're going to bring up. It just definitely feels like they're unserious. You know, again, it's like they're just okay with just bringing up randos instead of bringing up guys that are tearing it up in the farm that could help us win right now. You know, it's not like we're, you know, the worst team in the league. You know, again, it's like, you know, we got a long ways to go for as far as consistency, you know, but again, with the talent level that we have, you know, if you bring up the right pieces and mesh them together, you know, we could actually do better in a tough time, like with the injuries that we're having this season. But again, the management with, you know, with Jerry DePoto and with Dan Wilson and everyone else in charge, it's unserious. It's ridiculous. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Good take there. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. Take the walk, Mitch, if it's there. You know, some guys, you know, can be okay players, but that doesn't mean they're going to be good managers. You know, and unfortunately, there's only like 4 or 5 good managers. 30 ball clubs. 3-2 pitch. There we go. Walk by Garver. We get the runner to score from third on a cheap, you know, hey, come on from third base with the walk. 2-0 Mariners. Let's go. I love it. I love it. And again, Mitch is not a good player. You know, just like Connor Joe, just like Rob Refsnyder, just like, you know, Weston Wilson, they're just not good enough. But again, sometimes with all the injuries, you got to be able to stick with a few guys that you don't really need in the lineup or want, but you have nobody else. I mean, you do. You have Johnny Pareda, who's better. But again, Mariner organization is not very good at evaluating talent hitting-wise. Maybe pitching-wise, but not hitting-wise. Next up is Weston Wilson. Big swing and a miss, high and inside. 0-1 count. And I wish there was more opportunities for managers, you know, in college where you could, like, let's say a manager on LSU winning the Natty, and he's like really, really good, it would be sweet if we could like promote a guy like that to be, a manager in the big leagues. But unfortunately, guys, don't get promoted like that often. It's usually just former players that get hired and fired in a rotating door, and most of them are average or below average, and it just stinks. In the NFL, at least you can get like offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators from college and the pros, as well as head coaches, to kind of fill in the gaps. But baseball, it doesn't work like that. 0-2 pitch, and that's a line drive towards third and foul. I mean, even in the NBA, once in a blue moon, you'll get a college coach that goes to the NBA. He may not do good, but at least they give him a chance, to see if they can coach, boys and then grown men with egos. But, 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and that is out number 3. But at least we end up getting 2 runs like we did yesterday. Chris with a 20. Appreciate you. $20 holla, 80 to go. And again, there's a few things that, Jerry is good at. I'm not saying like he's overall like Dan Wilson, just terrible at everything. To be able to evaluate, pitchers, obviously he's very good at that, and to be able to build a staff in that regard. I'm not discrediting that. It's like Randy, right? Randy's a great hitter. I'm not discrediting that either, but he's terrible at ground balls and hustle and lack of defense, right? Jerry's good at evaluating pitching talent, but as far as calling guys up and bringing the right guys up and evaluating hitters, he's terrible. Think about some of the moves that he's made over the years. Polo worked out in the second year. Garver hasn't worked out. Rob Refsnyder is a disaster. Connor Joe is a disaster. So again, it's one thing to be able to draft pitchers and do a job there. That's fine. He does a good job with the drafting guys, as far as pitchers, Cade Anderson and guys like that. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to take a guy like Cade, number 3 overall when he could have been first pick in the draft. But as far as evaluating hitters, he's not very good, and as far as calling the right guys up, he's not very good at that either. So again, there's one thing that he does really good, like, Jerry DiPoto evaluating pitchers, but everything else, not very good. Randy, really good at hitting, but shitty at fucking ground balls and hustle. So again, it's, do you want to stick with mediocrity, or do you want to try to find someone that's good at everything? And again, that's the decision that Mariner fans and the organization needs to make. All right, let's go to the top of the second inning with a nice 2-0 lead. Next up in the 4-hole, first baseman Royce Lewis. Batting second in the 5-hole, third baseman Brooks Lee. And batting third in the 6-hole, fielder Luke Keeschel. And again, I've been a fan of this team for 40 years. And there's going to be people in this room that have been fans since day one. And again, there's going to be fans that have been, 5-10 years, or even during the Ichiro era for 20 to 25 years. But again, if you end up being a fan of this team for, 40 to 50 years, you understand a little bit more than fans that maybe have been 20 years or less, based on where the organization was and where we're trying to go. Top of the second inning, 2-0 Seattle. Mike in the building, what's good? Are you watching the Air Show? I saw your post earlier. Hope you're enjoying it. First pitch, right down the middle for a strike. 0-1 count. But again, trade rumors now, Luis Castillo, Emerson Hancock, and then as of this morning, potentially Randy Arozarena, and surprisingly, George Kirby. And again, we will see if they actually go through with it or not, and if we get good talent in return, and it opens the door for guys like Ryan Sloan and Cade Anderson. Even though I don't want to really get rid of George, I'd rather get rid of Castillo and Hancock first. But if we can get good players in return, Mason Miller, type of guy, Seiya Suzuki type of talent, then I would be on board, especially with the talent that we have with Sloan and Cade waiting in the wings, because eventually they're going to be in the starting 5, and it's just a matter of who are they going to be paired up with. Ryan Sloan, Cade Anderson, Logan Gilbert, Bryce Miller, and is it Brian Wu? Or obviously we know Wu's terrible on the road this year, but last year he was our best pitcher. So we need to see a little bit more out of Brian Wu to decide, is this a guy that we want, long term, or is this a guy that we'd be willing to trade, for example, next year or the year after? But I think with Gilbert and Miller and Sloan and Cade Anderson, and then obviously thinking if Wu is, a guy that you want to keep, as long as he can get better on the road, that's a pretty nasty starting 5 in the near future. 1-2 pitch from Gilbert to Lewis. Check swing. Did he go? And no, he did not. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Royce Lewis. Top of the second inning, 2-0 Mariners. And if you're just tuning in, Julio Rodriguez on an infield single with bases loaded, 1-0 Seattle. Garver was walked. Randy scoring from third with bases loaded, 2-0 Seattle. Great start like yesterday, but we need more. 2-2 pitch, hard hit ball towards third base and foul. And again, Logan Gilbert started his season 0-2, but has been 8-4 since with an ERA of 3.44, and he is our number one. Two pitch. And a hard hit ball towards third. Weston Wilson is a liability. I mean, that's a hard ball to be able to get as it gets deflected off of him. But again, J.P. Crawford and Weston Wilson defensively are terrible at third base. We need Brendan Donovan back ASAP. Send Weston Wilson back to AAA. I mean, nobody was going to get that ball more than likely, but again, maybe. If that's Brendan Donovan, I think he gets that, and that goes off the mid. And, again, Weston Wilson has had a hard time, getting those, hard hit balls at third lately. Hasn't necessarily had errors, but hasn't been able to field cleanly. And again, he might be able to get a hit once in a blue moon, but damn, he has a liability at third like JP was for a while. And a hard hit ball, deep right field, and caught by Dominic Canzone. Nice strong throw as the runner tags up. Randy, pay attention. And then runner now is at third with one out. And Brooks Lee ended up hitting that big home run yesterday. Got to limit the damage with Brooks Lee. Sack fly there. Dom with the catch. Next up is Luke Keeschel. On deck is the former Astro Victor Caratini. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First pitch to Keeschel. Big swing and a miss, high and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Keeschel. Slider 85 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. 1-1 pitch. Fouls it off himself. And maybe a little bit of a deflection on Cal Raleigh as well. Or excuse me, Mitch Garver behind the plate today. And again, deflections have been brutal this year for not only the Mariner hitters, but also the opposing batters that the Mariners have been facing. Top of the second, runner at third with 1 out, 2-0 Mariners, just like yesterday. But the magic number's got to be 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. We got a nice Cole Young home run and 2 RBIs by Cal yesterday, but it just wasn't enough. And then we had meltdowns by Ferrer, Pizzardo, and Randy defensively, and then we lost, and again, that's unacceptable. We should have won yesterday. And again, with the other names being mentioned as far as potential trade bait, I assume everyone is going to be locked in moving forward until the deadline. 1-2 pitch, and another ball there from Gilbert to Keeschel. Low and away, slider 85 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at third and 1 out. Top of the second, 2-0 Seattle. Tridents up. Shout out to Chris for getting us started on the Dono train. We're at 20:80 to go. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and Logan looks on, baby. I like that. Hopefully the other pitchers are taking notice. And again, Logan Gilbert starting the year 0-2, now 8-4 since, with a ERA of 3.44. And before the season's over, he's got a chance to get that ERA below 3. Good job, Logan. Down goes Luke Keeschel. Next up is the former Astro Victor Caratini. And let's keep that runner stranded at third. First pitch is low and at the knees. 1-0 count. One-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss right down the middle. Nasty pitch there by Logan Gilbert. Beautiful changeup there by Logan. Really is starting to dial in all of his arsenal on the mound. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Caratini. 1-1 pitch and a hard hit ball towards first and foul. Slider 89 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Caratini. And then obviously in about an hour and some change, we got SummerSlam Night 1, which I'll be tuning in here while I call the game. And we got SummerSlam Night 2 as well on tomorrow, which is going to be very, very exciting. I believe both of them are going to be starting around 3 o'clock Pacific time. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and we leave the runner stranded. And when's the last time that we've done that, where we score and then all of a sudden the other team responds immediately, and we're able to play some good defense and pitch well there. Nice job there by Logan Gilbert. It's awesome that, the score is 2-0 still, not 2-1, 2-2, or 3-2. And we actually can soak in the lead, hopefully for a little bit. And let's see if we can add on to it immediately. Let's go to the bottom of the second inning. Next up in the 9-hole, the phenom rookie shortstop Colt Emerson. Just be patient in the box, and the game will come to you. Just like Cole Young. Just be like Cole. You can do it. Batting second, 1 for 1 with a run. My favorite player on the team. The only bright spot this year, it feels like. Second baseman Cole Clutch Young, as clutch as they come, baby. And batting third, 0 for 0 with a run and a walk, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Right ends up. Let's go M's. 50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40-plus years on the radio for this legend and icon. He is retiring after this season, and we want to make sure he goes out with somewhat of a bang. And again, the one, the only, Rick Riz. We love you. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, all our regulars, all our mods, everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. We're only 11 subs away from 24,500. 511 from 25,000, 6.2 million views and counting, which is exciting. And let's see where we're at on the likes, since we're at 20 on the Dono train, 80 to go. Chris is our early MVP. Appreciate all the love and support for me and Paisley, as well as this Mariner Ball Club, even in tough times like it is this year. And we're at 42 likes, 58 to go. And again, if we can get through this year, we can get through anything. You have to realize that. And the American League is down. So it's not just, the Mariners stink. Hey, guess what? The American League stinks. So again, there's still a chance that we could end up, making the playoffs, whether it's, winning the division or getting in with a wild card. And I know August's schedule is fucking brutal. If you guys have looked on social media and looked at the calendar, it is brutal. But again, in September, it gets much easier. We just got to find a way to upset some of these playoff teams. Sean in the building. What's good? From one dog father to another. How are you? Good start here today, and I have good feeling, about today. Even though Luke Raley went to the IL, this morning, which is not ideal. JP is already there, but Brandon Donovan should be coming back shortly, as well as Vargas, Criswell, and Brash. And now, as far as the trade rumors, Castillo, Hancock, and now as of this morning, George Kirby, possibly, and Randy Arozarena. And obviously, I don't mind if Castillo, Hancock, and Randy go, but I don't want to get rid of George Kirby unless we're going to get Seiya Suzuki, Mason Miller type of returns. And if we're able to get guys like that, then I'm okay with it. Otherwise, I would rather keep George. 0-1 pitch, high and away, 1 ball and 1 strike from Prelip to Emerson. 1-1 pitch, high and inside, 2 balls and 1 strike from Prelip to Colt Emerson. Dakota with the sub, appreciate you. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 2-1 pitch. Emerson pops up into shallow left and caught, and that is 1 away. Next up, leadoff hitter, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. Already 1 for 1 today with a stand-up double. Let's go. And I honestly believe, sooner than later, based on the development of our guys, it's going to end up being, Julio Rodriguez, Cole Young, and Cade Anderson. I think that those are going to be the 3 best players, on the team as far as consistency, especially once Cade comes up. I think that those are going to be the guys that you're going to be able to rely on more times than not. And yeah, Julio obviously sometimes starts slow, in the first half of the seasons. We know that, but we also know when Julio's not in the lineup, we can't win. It's like we cannot win without Julio. I mean, even him at DH is not ideal, but when Julio's in the lineup, especially in center field, we know we have a chance to win. But when he's not, there's usually issues, defensively, and then that lack of ability of someone filling in for Julio, it hasn't really worked out. So that shows me how valuable Julio is to this team, as well as Cole Young. And I believe Cade Anderson has a chance once he gets called up. He could end up being our number one pitcher down the road. And again, that's saying a lot. But again, remember, he's first round pick, should have been first pick overall. But again, the Nats and the Angels went for a utility player and a pitcher instead of Cade. Cade could have been number one. And thankfully, he fell to us with the third pick in the draft last year. And I do believe that he's got the talent, the moxie, the swagger, and the aura to end up being our top guy sooner than later. Little dribbler up the middle, throw to first. And nice hard run to first base by Young, but he is out, and that is 2 away. Sean with the 20. Appreciate you. We're at 40 on the Dono train. 60 to go. First pitch to Randy, fouls that one off after taking 4 straight balls in his first at bat, getting on base. And again, having bases loaded and cashing in early is a fantastic sign, just like we did yesterday. But again, after Cal got those 2 RBIs yesterday early in the game, we had a home run by Cole Young, showing that clutch factor, but after that, nothing besides a meltdown by Ferrer, Bizzardo, and a meltdown by Randy defensively. And that cannot happen tonight. 0-1 pitch, low and away, curveball, 83 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike from Prelip to Orosarena. Uma in the building, what's good? I agree, Ryan. Again, if we are going to get, George Kirby, to go somewhere, we got to get a very good haul. Again, obviously the value for Emerson Hancock and Luis Castillo, and Randy could get a good haul too. Obviously being an all-star year in and year out, especially with a guy that is a great hitter, and he smashes that one. Is that going to be fair? Back, gone! And he might not be able to play defense, but again, he can hit home runs and get hits. And Randy Arozarena, big solo singer. And obviously his name got mentioned today as far as being traded, and that might help his trade value where we could actually get someone that actually plays offense and defense. Now, if Randy was our everyday DH, then I would keep him on the team. But if he's going to play left field, I wouldn't mind moving him. But great job there, 350 feet, solo singer by Randy Arozarena. Keep playing well. We can get more for you in a trade, potentially. Next up in the 3-hole, right fielder, Dominic Canzone. And that goes into the second row. But hell, if it goes over the wall, a home run is a home run. Regardless if it's in the front row or the second row, we'll take that. Nice job, Randy. First pitch fouled off there by Dominic Canzone. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. 0-1 count. Great start here. Yeah, unfortunately, trading managers is not something that happens. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Prelip to Canzone. 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Prelip to Canzone. Bottom of the second inning, 3-0 Mariners. I mean, hell, if it was me, and we're not able to get someone, from another team like a Dusty Baker, Tony La Russa type or a Lou Piniella type, it would be sweet to have Ichiro, be the manager. You got Edgar already there, convinced Griffey and Randy Johnson to, give up their, full-time photography digs and to help the team. And if we were able to have that happen, the vibes would be extremely hot. And we know Ichiro obviously has good baseball IQ and good habits. And again, Dan Wilson and Scott Service are almost clones of each other, and we need someone a little bit better if we want to be able to make the runs that this team deserves. Pitch is fouled off, high and away. But the chance of Ichiro and Griffey and Randy being full-time on the roster is not likely to happen. But, a guy can dream. 2-2 pitch, popped up and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Prelip to Canzone. Great start here for the Mariners. And again, we should have won yesterday. Vibes were high after getting blasted in Texas, as well as in LA. But remember that game that we won against the Dodgers, as we have a slow dribbler here up the middle, throw to first, and down goes Dominic Canzone, and that is out number 3. That was the first time that we won a game in Los Angeles against the Dodgers since 2009. It's been 17 years, so I didn't expect to win, another game after winning one. That was already, kind of a shocking thing. But, again, hopefully we'll be able to play teams like that better in the future. Christakis with a $5. Appreciate you. And you know what? I am starting to run out of dog food. So, again, that is going to be huge. Christakis with a $5 holla. And a bag of dog food, is not cheap anymore. It's usually like $80 to $85 every month. So, shout out to Christakis. And again, I got maybe another week's worth of food. So again, this is going to really, really help out. And anyone else that would be willing to help out with things like that would be greatly appreciated. Appreciate you. We're at 45 on the Dono train. 55 to go. Christakis is reading my mind. Didn't even have to mention it. And he's already taken care of us, just like we already got taken care of by Chris and Sean, MVPs. Chris, Sean, Christakis, I appreciate the 3 of you, and we'll see if we get a few others to help out as well. End of the second inning, 3-0 Mariners. Let's go. That's more like it, as far as Mariner baseball, but also, George Kirby and Randy being mentioned in the media this morning, probably a little bit more pressure now, on certain guys to not only play well to keep their job here in Seattle, but also have better trade value if they end up going. Gained another sub during the commercial break. Appreciate you. Only 10 subs to go now to 24,500. Now let's see how many more likes we need as the tridents are being raised there in the stands, just like here at home. And we're at 50 likes, 50 to go. Kreidler is up. First pitch from Kreidler. Low and away, slider 87 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, popped up. Deep center field. Julio back to the wall. Wow! Julio hitting the wall hard, but keeping the ball in the mid. I hope he's okay. And we want to be careful with Julio with the concussion, but Julio Rodriguez robbing a double there from Ryan Kreidler. Hit the back pretty hard there, but I hope he's okay. There's decent padding out there, but Julio is up and standing. Nice job, Julio. Next up in the 9-hole is right fielder, Austin Martin. First pitch to Martin is in there for a strike with a 4-seam fastball, 0-1 count. On deck is Trevor Larnach. Oh, 0-1 pitch, little slow dribbler at third. Throw to first, and that is 2 away. Finally, some good defense out of there by Weston Wilson. Next up is Trevor Larnach. On deck is Ryan Jeffers. First pitch is high and inside, 1-0 count. I can. I mean, this team has got a lot of talent. It's just, injuries and, poor play. Logan is our number one on the mound, and the bats have come alive, and obviously the deadline is looming. So guys are, going to hop on the trend of, trying to play well, either staying here in Seattle or potentially leaving. Luke Raley hitting the IL today, as well as JP Crawford the day before, but again, we will see. This team has got enough talent to get things going. It's just, about the consistency. One pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Gilbert to Larnach. And, we are a lot better at home than we are on the road. On the road, we're terrible, more times than not, pitching and hitting. But at home, pitching and hitting are a lot better, just like it is for every team. 2-1 pitch. Little dribbler there in front of Gilbert. Nice calm throw to first. And that is out number 3. Great job there by Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert with a 1-hitter so far. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and let's see if we can end up scoring another run or two. No mercy. We've already had a rough time, on the road, and we need to be able to make up some ground in this very difficult August schedule. Next up in the 4-hole, 1-for-1 with an RBI, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K. DHing today, big dumper Cal Raleigh. And batting third, 0-for-1 with a K, first baseman Josh Naylor. Tridents up. Let's go M's. Alex with a 20. Appreciate you. $20 holla for Alex. Cactus Jack with the bang bang. $20 holla. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Alex, all on the 20. And on top of that, Christakis with the fiber. We are at 65, 45, or 35 to go to hit our dono goal. Appreciate the 4 of you so far. And again, we've had a bad year. There is no, disregarding that. But again, the American League is bad. So even though things have been terrible for us, we could still potentially, make a wild card or win the division. It's not like the Rangers and Astros are 15 games above us. They're all kind of neck and neck, with us, hovering at 500 or a game or two above or a game or two below. So we still have a chance, even as bad as things have gone for us this year. And if we can get through this year, we can get through anything. This is the most challenging year the Mariners have had in probably the last 40, honestly, based on the talent that we have. First pitch is high and away to Julio Rodriguez, 1-0 count. Tridents up. Let's go M's. One-0 pitch. In there for a strike looking. 1 ball and 1 strike from Prelip to Julio. Little dribbler towards third by Julio. Throw to first, and that is 1 away. Down goes Julio. Next up, a player that has been getting slightly better lately, which is a great sign for us. In the 5-hole today, DHing big dumper Cal Raleigh. On deck is first baseman Nails, Josh Naylor. First pitch to Cal, line drive, and throw to first, and that is 2 away. Kreidler with the grab, almost ended up making the clean play, but still threw it to first. But a hard hit ball by Cal, definitely seeing the ball better, within the last week or two. Next up, In the 6th hole, first baseman Josh Naylor. On deck is Mitch Garver, who's behind the plate tonight. First pitch to Naylor, popped up into left, and that is 3 up and 3 down. Five-pitch inning is not what you want, as far as the Mariners. But again, we are up 3-0, so we can't complain. End of the 3rd inning, 3-0 Seattle. Next up, 0 for 1 in the 2-hole, DHing Ryan Jeffers. Batting second in the 3-hole, 0 for 1, second baseman Cody Clemens. And batting third in the 4-hole, first baseman 1 for 1, Royce Lewis. Trident's up. Let's go M's. We're at 65 on the Dono train, 35 to go. Gained another sub during the commercial break. Appreciate you. Now we only need 9 to get to 24,500. 509 to 25,000. Very exciting. 6.2 million views and counting. Next goal will be 7 million views, and then 8, 9, and 10. And then obviously once we hit 25,000 subs, then the next goal will be 30, 40, and then 50. And then eventually the long-term goal will be 100. And we're at 62 likes, 38 more to get to 100. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. I'm going to go check up on Paisley here real quick and grab a water. Cade Anderson, killing it. 119 strikeouts to 12 walks with an ERA of 1.20 and a 9-1 record. Why are we not calling Cade Anderson up to help us win? I know they want to, ease him in, but I honestly believe that, he could end up being our number 1 pitcher, down the road, in the rotation. And that definitely is saying a lot when you got guys like Logan Gilbert and George Kirby and Brian Wu and Bryce Miller and Hancock and Castillo on the squad. And I think even Ryan Sloan has a chance to be one of the, better hitters in the rotation once he gets called up too. They have extreme talent. And it's awesome to be able to see Sloan as a righty and then Cade as a lefty. So we get the best of both worlds. First pitch from Gilbert to Jeffers, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Jeffers. 1-1 pitch in there for a strike looking, 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 4th inning, 3-0 Mariners. And I have never seen anybody in the farm with the ERA and the strikeout to walk ratio as good as Cade Anderson's. It's just ridiculous on how good he truly is. And up the middle, little slow dribbler. Good play there by Cole Young, as reliable as they come. And that is, again, I have a feeling, Cole Young, Julio Rodriguez, Cade Anderson, those are going to be the guys that, are going to be big fan favorites for many years to come. And I already got a Julio jersey. Next jersey I buy will definitely be a Cole Young. But the next jersey after that, it would be Cade Anderson for me. Really do believe that Cade and Cole Clutch Young are going to be superstars. First pitch is high and away to Cody Clemens, Roger Clemens' son, 1-0 count. I mean, there's rumors, this morning, Ben, that George Kirby, Randy Arozarena, this morning. And then obviously we've heard of rumors of Luke Raley, Luis Castillo and Emerson Hancock. But Raley just went to the injured list. So chances are that he won't get moved because people don't want an injured player, even if it's only, the 10-day IL and it's a minor injury. So those are the 4 guys that we have to keep an eye on now since Luke went to the IL is Castillo, Emerson Hancock, George Kirby, and then Randy Arozarena. So we'll see. And again, if we do trade George, we got to get a haul. We got to get like a Mason Miller, Seiya Suzuki type of talent in return. We just can't get just random guys. And again, we got guys in the farm like Michael Arroyo and Lazaro Montez as far as hitters. And then you got Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan as pitchers. Still, they're taking those guys slowly. Cade and Sloan are not even in AAA yet. And Arroyo and Lazaro Montez just made AAA a few weeks ago. So, but again, their talent level is there. 3-1 pitch from Gilbert to Clemens. Popped up and fading out of play. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 4th, 3-0 Mariners. And honestly, Gilbert and Kirby have always been in the top 3. So, and then obviously we've seen Miller and Hancock show flashes, right? And then Wu has been bad this year. Like Kirby, they haven't really been as consistent. Wu really bad on the road, but good at home. Again, if you're gonna let Kirby go, we got to make sure we get really good players in return. And it makes it a little bit easier to let go of Castillo, Hancock, and Kirby when you got Sloan and, Cade Anderson waiting. So it's not like we would be in a bad spot if we let those guys go and got some better hitters and pitchers. 3-2 pitch, ABS challenge. And the Mariners challenge by Garver ends up executing perfectly, strikeout on the corner. Great frame job there by Garver, which we don't say that often. And he is out. And that is 2 away. Logan Gilbert pitching like we all know he could. Started off the year 0-2 and has gone 8-4 since with the ERA of 3.44. And then there was one point where Miller was our best pitcher, but it's kind of come down to earth. And a line drive. And that line drive hits Logan Gilbert. I hope he's okay. He's down on the ground. And a line drive that hit Logan Gilbert on the leg. I hope he's okay. I mean, it's just our luck with these injuries. Ooh. And it hit him right there on the shin. Exit velo over 100. God, this Mariner team, cannot catch a break. And that is a 1-2-3 inning, and that's probably going to leave a big strawberry and a bruise, but hopefully they can, put some ice on it or whatnot, or wrap it up, and hopefully Logan will be able to come back out. And if whatever reason he has to exit, depending on who we bring in, hopefully we can still hang on to our 3-0 lead. I mean, Logan was pitching a 1-hitter at that point, but I've never seen a team so unlucky and so injury prone than this 2026 Mariner team. Rough. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Mariners as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Next up in the 7-hole, 0-for-0 with an RBI and a base on ball catcher, Mitch Garver. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K, third baseman, Weston Wilson. And batting third, 0-for-1 in the 9-hole, shortstop phenom, Colt Emerson. And let's pray that Logan Gilbert is okay. I mean, it's always just one thing or another with this team. Poor play, poor pitching, poor bullpen, lack of hitting, poor managing, and then the injury bug has just been insane this year. 9 subs away from 24,500. We're at 65 on the Dono train, 35 to go. And we're at 66 on the likes, 34 to 100. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We got 142 in the room. And that'll help us get more Mariner fans, more Twins fans, and more people looking for an MLB stream. Shout out to our new subs, our female audience, all our regulars, all our mods, everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. And I think the Mariners have club control, with Kirby for a couple more years. And, I think Kirby, for the most part, is probably, right there with Gilbert at the top, even though he's had kind of an up and down season. But I think I would rather have Kirby than Wu or Hancock or Castillo. For the most part, we know that Miller and Castillo and Hancock, and some of these guys, have had some moments and whatnot, but Kirby to me, as far as consistency, is right behind Gilbert. And if we're gonna get rid of that kind of player, since we have Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan waiting, we got to get something really, really good in return if we were dealing him. Popped up into left field, and that is one away. I don't know if they would get Springer based off the all the bad memories that we have against him, whether he's on the Astros or the Blue Jays. So I don't think that's a good fit for our team, and he's had some injuries as well. So I don't think Springer would come. I don't think the Mariners would be interested in bringing him in just based off his past history alone against us. So, we usually are trade partners with the Miami Marlins. But again, if Randy is on the block and Kirby's on the block, then you never know. Anything could happen. I mean, personally, I would rather have Mason Miller or Seiya Suzuki come to Seattle rather than Springer, and then obviously Casey Schmidt, at third base, potentially was a name, but he just went to the IL like Spencer Steer on the Reds. And then we are going to get Brandon Donovan back, so that'll fill a gap, as far as our third base offense and defensive woes. So that'll be like almost getting a brand new player, but we will see what else we can end up getting. And then once we get Criswell, Vargas, and Brash back in the pen, it'll solidify the bullpen, hopefully. And now we just need, some hitters and, decide what we're going to do with our pitchers moving forward. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees, 2 balls and 2 strikes from Prelip to Weston Wilson. Appreciate that, Brett. I mean, we should have won yesterday. I mean, if we didn't have a meltdown by Ferrer, Bazardo, and Randy Arosarena defensively and left, we could have won yesterday. It was really disappointing. Vibes were high. Cal with 2 RBIs early in the game, Cole Young with a home run, but, just couldn't do anything after that. It shows you how important it is to get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. Getting to 3 runs is usually not good enough to win a game, more times than not in 2026. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Weston Wilson. And that is 2 away. Yeah, but the whole American League sucks this year. So again, even though that, we have injuries and poor play, there's still a chance that we can make the playoffs. Now, if the American League was strong like it usually is, we would be screwed. There's no doubt about it. But this year, since the American League is terrible and we're playing in the worst division in baseball this year, it's not like the Astros and Rangers are killing it. They're shitty too, just like us. So, anything can happen. First pitch from Prelip to Emerson, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. I mean, I still got faith in this team, especially with the talent that we have. And even if we end up being sellers rather than buyers, it might end up opening up the door to make our team better, even if we go that route. If we can get Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan and Lazaro Montez and Michael Arroyo up, even if we get rid of Kirby and get rid of Randy or Castillo, or Hancock, I mean, the team could actually improve even if we end up being sellers, but it would be nice to be able to get, some decent pieces in return, obviously. It's not like you're going to get rid of George Kirby or Randy for, a bag of chips. You're going to have to give us something, and obviously the value for Hancock and Castillo is not as high, but they're still worth something, especially Hancock. Castillo, not so much, but, there's some desperate teams out there that need pitching, even pitching that may not be great. 1-2 pitch, line drive towards second, throw to first, and that is out number 3. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And Logan back out there with a big smile on his face. Great to see him back out there after getting that line drive. Exit velo, over 100 miles an hour on his leg. Big bruise, but he'll be okay. He's tough. End of the fourth inning, 3-0 Mariners, baby. Let's go to the top of the fifth and see who's up next here for the Twins. Next up in the 5-hole, third baseman Brooks Lee. Batting second in the 6-hole, 0 for 1 with the K, center fielder Luke Keeschel. And batting third, the former Astro, 0 for 1 with the K, catcher Victor Caratini. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. I mean, I'm full-time, so when it's Mariners season, I do Mariners. And then when we go to the NFL, I do Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. And then, we'll see what other content, if I do any like reaction videos to highlight in between, or some, fantasy football stuff, and then we will be very busy with that. We also do college football. And then when we get into the NBA season, we'll do Blazers and some good matchups that are on national TV. Once the Sonics come back, I'll do some Sonics as well. And then NHL with the Kraken. And then usually when we go to the beginning of the year, once things start winding down, maybe a little bit of NASCAR. And obviously we'll be sprinkling in a little bit of WWE and AEW as well. So, this is, a channel, that does everything. I'll even do boxing and UFC if it's worthwhile to do. So I will be doing a lot of football. And again, I started doing this channel, doing a lot of NFL and a lot of college football. And honestly, NFL, college football, and baseball are my favorite. And then again, I can, tolerate and enjoy, some NHL, some NBA, some college hoops, some wrestling, WWE, AEW, as well as NASCAR Cup Series. So again, there won't be a lack of content, on this channel ever. There will always be something going on, every day of the year. I mean, unless there's something going on like family emergency or whatnot. So first pitch to Brooks Lee is a ball, 1-0 count. High and away changeup, 84 miles an hour. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees, forcing fastball missing. 2 balls and no strikes from Gilbert to Lee. And we'll see how Fernando Mendoza does. Obviously you got Ashton Genty, you got Brock Bowers, so you got a few pieces. Offensive line still needs a little bit more, besides Colton Miller. And then obviously we know the Max Crosby thing, trying to get him to be traded. It didn't work out. But again, there's still a lot of room to grow defensively in the offensive line. And it might be a challenging season, but there's at least a few things to get excited for based on Mendoza, Genty, and Brock Bowers. So at least you got quarterback, running back, and tight end solidified. It's about everything else. And then Crosby on defense. Little flip to first. Logan Gilbert, toe tap on the bag. Good teamwork there by Naylor and Gilbert. And that is 1 away. I took last year off, but usually I do it every year. And sometimes I'll even do a league on the channel here, just do like a 10-man league. So, and I'll probably end up doing it again this year. I just wanted to take a break from it because it just kind of consumes my life. When I end up doing fantasy, I usually finish in the top 3 no matter what I do. But again, it kind of takes over my life where, I'm grabbing guys in the middle of the night on the wire. And, it's nice, to be that competitive, but sometimes it gets a little overwhelming because I'm very competitive at it. Hard hit ball, deep left field. Back, gone. And a big home run there by Luke Keeschel, but at least it was only a solo dinger. So the 3-0 lead ends up going away finally, but again, at least it was not a 2-run jack, a 3-run bomb, or a grand salami. Solo dinger, 385 feet to left center. I'll take it. It's okay. Next up is Victor Caratini. And as long as Gilbert only gives up the 1 run, we'll be just fine. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First pitch into Victor Caratini is in there for a strike. High and inside with a slider. 0-1 count. Yeah, and it shows you how important offensive line truly is. I mean, you can have beast players, at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end, but if your O-line stinks, you're not going to be able to run the ball effectively. You're not going to be able to, run block and pass block effectively for, those plays that happen in the passing game, in the screen game, and in the running game. So, you may not be sexy, drafting offensive linemen high in the first and second round. But as anybody knows, if you want to build a contender, you got to have pieces on the line to be successful, just like you need to have a good D-line to get pressure, to stop the run, and to get to the quarterback, and offensive line is the thing that is, most overlooked, from a lot of fans, but you definitely need, a good starting five up front. Fastball in there for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Caratini. Two-two pitch, little slow dribbler up the middle. Emerson is there, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And again, Cole Doherty can play great defense. It's just about getting his offensive game to the Cole Young level, which I believe he will next season. Rookie years are a chance to figure it out, and then eventually you'll have a breakout year in year 2 or year 3. Next up in the 8-hole, 0 for 1, shortstop Ryan Kreidler. First pitch takes a strike, looking with a slider. Low and at the knees on the line, 87 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Kreidler. Top of the 5th, 3-1 Seattle. Sounds good. One pitch, pop behind the plate and out of play towards the T-Mobile bricks. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning, 3-1 Seattle. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Who will be moved at the deadline? Will it be Luis Castillo? Will it be Emerson Hancock? Will it be George Kirby? Will it be Randy Arozarena? Obviously, Luke Raley going to the IL. Chances he won't be moved. But it was rumored, that maybe that Luke would be paired up with Castillo or Hancock in a deal. And I assume we're going to make a deal with the Marlins, for at least a player or a bullpen, option. But who else besides the Marlins? I mean, that's usually our trade partner. We have a good relationship with them. Obviously, Otto Lopez and a bullpen guy would be great, but Otto usually plays second, and, we already got Cole Young. But again, depending on who else we move, there could always be another option, maybe at DH or, depending on where we go. But we definitely need a few more players. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Kreidler. And that is out number 3. Logan is doing awesome. 2-hitter. I mean, yeah, he gave up the home run, but he's playing great. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 5th inning and make up for that home run that we just gave up. Next up, 1 for 2 with a run. Second baseman, my favorite player, Cole Clutch Young. Let's see if Cole can get a home run in back-to-back games so we can go up 4-1. Let's go, Cole. Batting second, 1 for 1 with 2 runs, an RBI, and a base on ball, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a base on ball, right fielder Dominic Canzone. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And then if you are a fan of wrestling, SummerSlam is starting in about a half hour today and tomorrow. Day 1 and day 2, night 1 and night 2. And I'm looking forward to that. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First pitch into Cole Young, taking a strike, high and away, four-seam fastball, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, hard hit ball into right field, and another big hit by Cole Clutch Young. Let's go. My favorite player, being as clutch as ever. Nice job there by Cole. Next up in the 2-hole, left fielder Randy Orosarena. On deck is Dominic Canzone. So since I live obviously here in Oregon, obviously it's Mariners and Kraken, obviously for baseball and for hockey. And then for basketball, it's Blazers, since I live here in Oregon, and then obviously Ducks. If I lived in Washington, then it would be just Seattle teams across the board, Huskies, Kraken, Sonics, Seahawks, and all that. But for my NFL team, I'm a defensive-oriented fan, and the Seahawks and the Niners and the Raiders and the Chargers on the West Coast didn't really have defensive players, back when I was a kid that I had a connection to. And so when Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks got drafted by the Buccaneers and they had Mike Allstott and, Rondé Barber and John Lynch, I had a real connection with those guys. And I've been a Bucs fan since 95. So it's the only team that I root for that's outside of Oregon and Washington, since obviously it's in Tampa. But I do content with, those teams, but also other teams as well. First pitch to Dominic Canzone is high and away, 1-0 count. Brett with the tour. And Brett with another tour. Yeah, I sent it twice, but I appreciate it. There's a lot of guys, and I'll go over that here in just a moment. And I grew up in the 80s, so I've been watching sports and wrestling since 85, so I got to see everything. The birth of video games, the birth of wrestling, and the best athletes and wrestlers of all time. Takes a strike, looking low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Prelip to Canzone. Yeah, Piper is from Oregon. Rest in peace. I got an action figure of Piper. But I would say, it just depending on, I watched everything, WWF, WCW, ECW, loved, Macho Man, love NWO with Hogan and, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall as far as like factions, love Stone Cold, enjoyed The Rock, loved RVD and Sabu and ECW, so again, I don't really necessarily just have like one. I'm a big Seth Rollins guy as far as wrestlers that are in WWE now. I enjoy, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay and AEW. So, it just kind of depends, love Eddie Guerrero. I can go on and on and on, depending on the guys that I like. And Dominic Canzone forces the walk, and Cole Young makes it to second. Agreed. And if there just wasn't such politics, Piper should have ended up having the belt, just like Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, and Owen Hart, and a lot of other guys that were deserving. But when you end up having guys like Flair and Hogan, and kind of at the top, and Andre the Giant and Sting, there really wasn't a whole lot of room for others to be able to get chances, based on the politics back then. So. But it would have been cool, to be able to see some of those other guys that were kind of mid-card material, get chances to be champion at least a little bit. It doesn't have to be for like years, but they could have given the belt to some of those guys for like a couple weeks or like a month, or even a couple, to give them a shot of knowing what it feels like to be champion in front of the world, First pitch to Julio is low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1 pitch, hard hit ball, shallow right field and caught. And a strong throw as Cole Young scampers to third and safe. Good job there by Cole Young with the sac fly. Nice job there by Julio with the sac fly. Cole making it to third base. Nice job, Julio. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, with runners at first and third with 2 outs. Let's see if Cal can get a big RBI here to make it 4-1. Make up for that home run by Keishel in the previous inning. TJ in the building, what's good? Yeah. But I'm a big Scott Hall guy, a big Kevin Nash guy, Outsiders, NWO. Wolfpack or Black and White. I mean, I still have the gear, vintage gear that I still rock, from time to time. People will be doing the too sweet at the grocery store, so it's some of those things. Some people are DX guys, some people are NWO, but they said when you're NWO, you're NWO for life, brother. And it's true. 0-1 pitch, high and away, 1 ball and 1 strike. From Prelip to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Yeah, of course, I live in Oregon. It's actually not very far from me. Pickles play in Hillsboro. I used to like going to the Portland, Beaver AAA affiliate for the Twins, back in the day when the Twins were world champions with Kirby Puckett, back when I was a kid in the late 80s, early 90s. That was the place to be if you couldn't make it to a Mariner game. And I got a couple foul balls, that, sprained my ankle, got it batting gloves, sneaking down to the front row and yelling at some of the players after they hit a big home run. And I still have batting gloves here in the room from 1992 when I was 10. So, a lot of memories were made at the Portland Beaver games. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Cal. Runners are stranded at first and third, but we still have a 3-1 lead. Oh, yeah, big Papa Pump. Holla if you hear me. End of the 5th inning, 3-1 Mariners. I'm a big toy collector too, so lots of wrestling figures, from WCW to WWF from back in the day, the 80s and 90s, and current, and starting lineups, and McFarlane's, and Bobble, and Mariner games, and Star Wars, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles, you name it. I'd probably collect them. All right, let's see who's up next as we go to the top of the 6th inning with a 2-run lead. Next up, 0-for-1 in the 9-hole, right fielder Austin Martin. Batting second, 0-for-2 with a K, left fielder Trevor Larnach. And batting third in the 2-hole, DHing Ryan Jeffers. Trident's up, let's go M's. 9 subs to go to 24,500. And we're at 65 on the Dono train, 35 to go. And we should be getting close to 100 likes. We're at 80, 20 more to get to 100. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. It'll help get more Turner fans here, more Twins fans, and more baseball fans across the world. We are global. 20 to 100. Velasco in the building. What's good? We're at 65 on the Dono train. 35 to go. Shout out to Christakis, Chris, Sean, Alex, and Brett. Appreciate you. 65. So we're at 69, 31 to go based on Brett's donos to the channel moments ago. First pitch from Gilbert to Martin. Fouls that one off, out of play. 0-1 count. Gilbert on the mound, Austin Martin in the box. 0-1 pitch, little line drive. Wilson is there. Good throw to first to Naylor, and that is one away. And that's a good, sign to see, even though Donnie will be back in a day or two. Just had a baby with his girlfriend/wife. So, I wish the best. But we definitely need Donnie back at third and to give us that pop in the order, obviously in the box. Next up is Trevor Larnach. Velasco with a tenor. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. I got to get dog food for Paisley here in a couple days, so that'll really help. First pitch fouled off, out of play. Back, and gone. And Larnach ends up getting a hold of one on a 0-1 pitch into right field. And now it's 3-2 Seattle. And we need to be able to get to 5 if we want to win this game. Right center, 379 feet. And again, Logan has been good. But again, we just can't have the bullpen, shit the game away, just like they did yesterday with Bizardo, Ferrer, and Randy with his bad defense in left field. Next up is Ryan Jeffers. And again, 2 runs is fine, but again, hopefully Logan does not give up any more. Again, typically that's what you shoot for, 2 runs or less. But we need the offense to be able to put up a couple more if we're going to win this game. Shout out to Velasco. Now we're at 79 on the Dono train, 21 to go. And again, dog food does need to be purchased within about a week. So a bag of dog food for me, for Paisley, is about $80, $83 for a month. So, I try to get her some, good quality food to make sure she's healthy and happy. So obviously that will really help. Appreciate you. So trade rumors, Velasco, since you just came in, I don't know if you've heard, but obviously everyone has heard about Castillo and Hancock. But this morning, Randy Arozarena and George Kirby now have been added to the supposed list of teams calling into the Mariners, potentially wanting those guys. I wouldn't mind if Castillo and Hancock and Randy leave if we get good returns. But again, if we're going to get rid of Kirby, we better get some really good players in return, like Seiya Suzuki, Mason Miller types. Otherwise, I would rather keep Kirby. We do have Cade Anderson, Ryan Sloan, Michael Arroyo, and Lazaro Montes waiting in the wings in the farm. And obviously we know Cade will be in the starting 5 next year. But again, will he be on the team this year? I hope so. He's been killing it. He's had like the best record in ERA and strikeout to walk ratio out of any Mariner prospect ever. And again, he should have been the first pick in the draft. And I honestly think Cade will end up being our number 1 pitcher sooner than later in the rotation. And he's that good. They'll start him off at the 5. Well, they'll first start him off in the bullpen. Then they'll start him off in the 5, like they did with Wu a couple years ago. Eventually move him to the 3, in the rotation, and then eventually the 1. Little slow dribbler up the middle, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Now, Buccaneers. I'm a defensive-oriented fan. I do follow the Kraken and the Mariners. Since I live in Oregon, those are my, 2 teams, obviously, in Seattle. And then Blazers, since I live here. But, I will watch Sonics games when the Sonics come back as well. And then Blazers are my team here, though. And then, obviously, Ducks. If I lived in Washington, it would be Huskies. And then Buccaneers, just because I'm a defensive-oriented fan. And I watch a lot of the Seahawks games, though. I don't really miss a Seahawk game. They may not be my team, but I, always keep up with what they do, as well as the other teams on the West Coast. And, I follow everyone, everybody in the NFC, everyone in the AFC. I watch an insane amount of NFL and college football games in a week. There's probably, I would say, 5 to 10 games a week I watch, if not more, every week when football season, goes around. Not just my favorite teams, but obviously Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, and then I go above and beyond to try to keep up with the contenders, in both sports as well. First pitch from Gilbert to Clemens, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Two-0 pitch, hard hit ball, fading foul. Thank God. Nah, I don't play it, but I've seen people play it. Top inning, 3-2 Mariners. Gilbert on the mound, Clemens in the box. Come on, Gilbert, finish strong. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's rough because, Mike Evans went to the Niners. That hurt my soul. right? Levante David retired. That hurt my soul. And now, the Buccaneers are being stingy with Vita Vea and Baker Mayfield and not paying them. That hurts my soul. Those guys should be on the team forever. But again, it is a business, and hopefully they figure it out. But it definitely is a distraction now, going into training camp and the season, as well as preseason. 3-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes from Gilbert to Clemens. But I do think that they have a chance to, win the NFC South. The NFC South is not very good, so obviously, Bucks and Panthers, should be battling it out. And obviously we'll see what the Saints and the Falcons look like as well. And obviously in the NFC West, it's always going to be a battle with the Seahawks and the Rams and the Niners, and Cardinals are always going to be little brother. 3-2 pitch. Hard hit ball towards first base and foul. And if you ended up watching, the documentary Quarterback, just like they've done on Netflix, over the last couple years, you start to realize the behind the scenes with, some of those guys, including Baker Mayfield. It's a very, very good watch. You really understand, the family side as well as the behind the scenes, which is awesome. 3-2 pitch, low and away, and that's a walk to Clemens. And, Baker was hurt almost every week, and it wasn't really necessarily information that was given out. He was playing through some really serious injuries. So obviously we played really well at the beginning of the year, and then obviously had meltdowns in the second half of the season. And now, I understand why. Again, if you're hurt as bad as you are, it takes a true warrior to keep playing, especially in the NFL. And now we got a mound visit there by Woodworth and the team to see if Logan can get this last out or not. Next up is Royce Lewis. Top of the 6th, runner at first with 2 outs, 3-2 Seattle. Royce Lewis in the box, Logan Gilbert on the mound. Come on, Logan, finish strong, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. But agreed, Velasco, Vea, is one of the best nose tackle, D tackles in the game. The closest thing to Warren Sapp that I've been able to experience as a fan. And, you can't win without a big guy up front. I am excited about Ruben Bain, though. That'll be the closest thing to Simeon Rice that we've had in a long, long time. And, I love Derek Brooks and Sapp and Simeon Rice and John Lynch and Rondé Barber and Mike Allstott on the offense. And that's what made me fall in love with the team back in the day. And I was very shocked that Brady and Gronk and Antonio Brown came to the Bucks, and Bruce Arians, and we won a Super Bowl. That was not anything I had on my bingo card, but I'll definitely take it, and we'll see what happens in the future. 1-1 pitch, little foul tip behind the plate. And that actually was dropped by Garver. 1 ball and 2 strikes as runner advances to second with 2 outs. Let him know, Velasco. We're almost there. We got 146 in the room. All it takes is just a second of your day to hit the like button, and then that'll help get more Mariner fans, more Twins fans, more MLB fans, and not just in the United States and Canada, but we are global. People in Mexico and South America and Asia and Australia and New Zealand, all over the globe watch this channel because I check the analytics daily. 1-2 pitch, check swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Royce Lewis. And again, if Seattle would have had, a Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Simeon Rice, Rondé Barber types, in the, mid-90s, yeah, I definitely would have been a Seahawk fan. But, I'm not a typical NFL or college football fan, and I'm more, defensive oriented for all sports. I like defensive effort, guys that will, go the extra mile. And I think, most people, prefer to buy offensive jerseys. I prefer to buy defensive jerseys. So I'm a little bit different, in that regard. But it's not like I don't appreciate offense. I do. But again, I have a special love, for those people that go the extra mile defensively, whether it be in NFL, college football, MLB, NHL, NBA. two-way players like Cole Young and Julio Rodriguez. There's a reason I like guys like that rather than guys like Randy, who kind of plays like a guy that just wants to shoot but not want to play D. And I don't like guys that are one-sided. So, and down Logan Gilbert gets that last out on Royce Lewis. Great job, and that is out number 3. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 6th and see if we can make up for those home runs that we've given up in the 5th and the 6th to get to 4 and 5 runs. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with a K, Josh Naylor. Batting second, 0 for 1 with an RBI and a base on ball, Mitch Garver. And then batting third, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, Weston Wilson. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Yeah, but the thing is about being a fan, it's like you're going to go through those, good times and bad times, and it makes you appreciate, what you have with the Seahawks, what you got with, Michael Penix Jr. and Jalen McMillan and Roma Dunzier, and when they ended up going to the Natty, unfortunately they lost, against Michigan, but, even me as an Oregon fan, I was rooting for Washington to win. I want to see Northwest teams do well, and I think a lot of people are, very hateful, towards the rival, Washington versus Washington State, Oregon versus Oregon State, Washington versus Oregon. But I'm a little different. When we play each other, of course, I want my team to win. But when we're not playing each other, I want to see the Beavers, the Huskies, and the Cougs do well. So I'm not really like a typical sports fan. I want to be able to see people have some joy in their life. And maybe I was a little bit more passionate and a little bit more hateful towards the rivals when I was younger. But when you get a little bit older and you mature, you start to kind of see the big picture. So looks like a pitching change is about to happen and Adams is coming in. Naylor is out, and that is 1 away. All right, Travis Adams is coming in. All right, Travis Adams coming in here for Connor Prelip. 5.1 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks with 88 pitches. And then we will see what we get out of Travis Adams, and hopefully we'll be able to rough him up a little bit. First pitch is high and inside, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Adams to Garver. Two-0 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and no strikes from Adams to Garver. Three-0 pitch, high and inside, and that's a 4-pitch walk to Mitch Garver. There we go. Next up in the 8-hole, third baseman Weston Wilson, and then on deck is Colt Emerson. And again, when I was younger, rooting for the Bucks and wanting the Panthers and Falcons and Saints, wishing on their downfall, and rooting for Oregon and hoping that the Huskies and Cougs and Beavers just implode. But it takes so much energy being negative, when you're younger, and then when you get older, it's just not worth it, and whatnot. And again, you can have rivalries and whatnot, but when you're not playing against those teams, it takes so much energy to be negative. And, again, I like to be able to see, teams in the Pacific Northwest thrive rather than wishing on their downfall. So 1-1 pitch, high and inside. Challenge here by Caratini. And we'll see if this goes from a 2-1 count to a 1-2 count. Call is overturned. Power code in the building. What's good? One-two pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Adams to Wilson. Two-two pitch, high and inside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Weston Wilson. Three-two pitch, a little foul tip. Oh, looks like he did strike out, and that is 2 away. And Emerson into shallow left and dropped, or did he catch it? And that is caught, supposedly. I don't know. It looked like he kind of scooped it. We'll see here in real quick. We need to do a replay here to see if he actually caught it or not. Now they're taking a look at the replay here. SummerSlam is about to start right now as well, so any wrestling fans, you have that available to you as well. Okay, call on the field is no catch, which is the correct call. Looks like it does hit the grass while it does go into the glove. I mean, it does go in his glove, but it looked like it hit a piece of the grass as it was going into the glove. I mean, the first replay looked like he caught it and the way that he reacted. But once you look at the replay, a piece of the baseball looks like it does hit the grass as he's simultaneously scooping it. So let's take a look at this other replay here. Pretty close. Twins are going to challenge, even though it did look like a little bit of the ball. I mean, not a lot of the ball. I mean, we're just talking about a very small piece of the baseball looked like it was hitting the ground as he was scooping it at the exact same time. It's kind of like those bang bang plays, that go to first base. It's supposedly tie goes to the runner, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the call that the umps see or, the ABS system in the replay booth see. So. And they're taking a review and a look at this. Call on the field stands. Good call. I mean, great attempt, to be able to get that, but a nice job there by Colt Emerson. And now we got runners at first and second with 2 outs, and that's what we need. And next up is Cole Clutch Young, who's the most clutch hitter on the Mariners with runners in scoring position with no outs and, is usually above 300. With runners in scoring position with 2 outs, Cole normally hits over 400. So, again, let's see if Cole can come up with the big play. Could be the difference between us winning or losing this game, and hopefully we can get a big hit here. Already 2 for 3 and a run. And now AJ Minter is coming in. And then getting AJ Minter from the Mets, recently. So Travis Adams is done. And hopefully Cole Young will be able to get a big single, double, triple, or home run. And then again, it can open up the game and get us to 5. And again, if we can get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, that usually ends up leading to a victory for the Seattle Mariners more times than not. All right, AJ Minter coming in, Cole Clutch Young in the box. Yeah, Cole might be the only bright spot this year, considering all the injuries and poor play, but this has definitely been the biggest bright spot for sure. Shout out to all of our fans watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. Appreciate you. So it looks like it's going to be Liv Morgan versus Io Sky, then Gunther and Nick Aldis, and then the 6-person tag team match. And then for the women and then the men, Hell in the Cell, Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar, which is going to be probably pretty good. And then CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes in the main event. Looking forward to those. First pitch to Young, pops it up, unfortunately, and is in shallow left, and that is caught, and that is out, number 3. And that is kind of uncharacteristic for Cole, but hopefully he'll have one more chance to be able to be the hero before this game is over. All right, let's go to the top of the 7th inning and see who's up next here for Minnesota. Pretty rare to see Cole swing at the first pitch and pop out or ground out. I mean, normally when you see plays like that, that's like, Naylor or Cal or Julio or Randy. So very uncharacteristic, but again, hopefully he'll have one more chance to be able to, get the job done. All right, next up for the Twins as we go to the top of the 7th, in the 5-hole, third baseman Brooks Lee. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a run, RBI and a K, center fielder Luke Keeschel. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, catcher Victor Caratini. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. Nine subs to go to 24,500. Gained another sub moments ago. Appreciate you. Eight subs to go to 24,500. 508 to 25,000. And we should be getting close to 100 likes. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Going to the top of the 7th inning with a 3-2 Mariner lead. Must-win game for us here today. And we're at 96. Can we get 4 people to hit the like button, please? And we'll be over 100. Well, honestly, everyone's gotten hurt except for, Cole Young and Colton Emerson for the most part, it feels like. First pitch to Brooks Lee. And a line drive that's fair into right. Get that ball. Hurry, hurry, hurry. And that is a stand-up double there for Brooks Lee. Next up is Luke Keeschel. On deck is Victor Caratini. All right, 98, then a couple more, and we should be there. Got Michael Rucker warming up in the pen, as well as Gabe Spire. Spire should be the one that comes in instead of Rucker, but bunt is shown. Wilson is there, throw to first, and that is one away. And now the runner is at third with one out. That was a great sack bunt, and I wish the Mariners would be bunting once or twice. Small ball is king. I love defense, and I love those, intricacies of the game. Double plays, triple plays, and bunting, and sack bunts and sack flies, and just all those things. Stealing bags, and double steals, and obviously there's no shifting anymore, and there's a lot of other new changes like the ABS, which I enjoy. Getting the calls correct, but there's a lot of things that could be better. For Seattle this season. A lot of things have gone sideways. But hopefully we can keep this runner at third and, score at least another run or two before this game is over. We may need to win. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Let's go, baby. First pitch into Caratini there. 0-1 count. Our bullpen has actually been terrible. Even though the stats may say otherwise, half of the bullpen is AAA guys, and then the guys that we're supposed to rely on haven't been good. Ferrer, Spire, and obviously Bazardo. So, we need Cooper Criswell, Matt Brash, and Carlos Vargas back on the team and get rid of some of the AAA guys, fill in the roster. And then at the deadline, hopefully we can grab a few guys to give us some depth as well, like Morejon from the Padres would be great. Again, we have talent, but again, a lot of the guys have been underperforming. And a little squibber, throw home. No home throw to first, and that is 2 away. Run scores, now the game is tied. Why was there no throw to home? I mean, at times the starting pitching can be good, and at times the bullpen can be good, but honestly, the only guy that's trustworthy in the pen right now is our closer, and he used to be one of the worst players on the team, Andres Munoz, at the beginning of the year. His ERA was above 6, and now he's probably the most trustworthy guy out of everyone. And, we'll see how the guys get, as we get past the deadline. Line drive, and another base knock. He's going for 2, throw him out! Got him! Oh, safe, no way! Damn it, Emerson, did you miss him? All right, Emerson, I thought he had tagged him. Mariners are going to challenge here. Looks like he got him. Looks like he got him in the face before his, hand hit the bag. You get the ump staring right there, but hopefully this call will go in our favor here. Looked like he got him on the chin there. If the original swipe didn't get him, the secondary swipe looked like it got him before the hand hit the bag. But, who knows what the ABS will go with here. I mean, it looks like it gets him in the neck, chest, and then the face area. Yeah, baby. Good call. There we go. Great job there by Colt Emerson. And again, that's why the ABS, you want the call to be correct. And a lot of times when it's, speculation, it can go either way. And that's why the ABS is probably the best, new rule for baseball. You want to make sure that the call is correct, whether it goes for you or against you. It's just good karma. Eventually, if it goes against you, then something good will eventually happen. Instead of just, having the calls go against you because the ump, has some kind of, grudge against you or whatnot. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and we've got to be able to take the lead here. Got to get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 7th and see who's up next here for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, Looks like Nance is coming in for Minter. In the 2-hole, left fielder Randy Orosarena, 1 for 2 with 2 runs, an RBI, and a base on ball. On deck in the 3-hole, right fielder Dominic Canzone, the Italian stallion. And batting third in the 4-hole, center fielder, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Rebecca in the building. How are you? Both teams have 3 runs. Both teams have 5 hits. Both teams have no errors. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, all of our regulars and our mods, everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. Tommy Nance into the game. First pitch foul back behind the plate to the T-Mobile bricks to Randy Orosarena. Sinker 95 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch to Randy. Up going out of play. Slider 89 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes from Nance to Orosarena. Oh, 2 pitch, and that is strike 3 called. Randy not pleased with that, as that's right on the corner in the zone, and that is 1 away. Next up in the 3-hole, right fielder, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. And on deck in the 4-hole, center fielder, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. First pitch to Canzone, takes a strike right down the middle with a sinker, 0-1 count. How are you, Rebecca? Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Oh, 1 pitch, low and at the knees. Curveball missing there by Tommy Nance. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. Bottom of the 7th, Twins and Mariners knotted at 3. Come on, Dom. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Let's go, Dom. One-two pitch. And that goes into the dirt. Past Caratini. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. Yeah, we have a little bit of overcast skies here, today and tomorrow, but then we have a heat wave coming up, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So not looking forward to, 90-degree temperatures or even high 80s, but we'll see. Two-two pitch. And a little dribbler right back to Nance. Throw to first, underhand throw, toe tap on the bag, and that is 2 away. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Come on, Mariners. We got to be able to put up some runs rather than the first 2 innings like yesterday. Somebody's got to be a hero. Julio in the box. Cal Raleigh on deck. We need home runs. We need ribbies. We need hits. Let's go. Got to find a way to win this game 4-3 or 5-3 or 5-4. 1-0 pitch. Fouled off towards third base, out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. We'll find out what happens at the trade deadline, who's going to be on this team and who may end up being traded. Luis Castillo, Emerson Hancock. And then today was announced that teams are calling for George Kirby and Randy Arozarena. So we'll see if those two individuals end up getting traded or not. Pitch is high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. 2-1 pitch. Popped up into right field, fading out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, I prefer 50 to 70 degree temperatures if I had my choice. Bottom of the 7th inning with nobody on and 2 outs. We're tied at 3, just like yesterday. Nance on the mound. Julio Rodriguez in the box. Come on, J-Rod. 2-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? And does not go. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Nance to Julio. Come on, J-Rod. Three-two pitch, popped up and out of play. Julio in the box with a full count, 3-2. And Cal Raleigh, big dumper, is on deck. And a mound visit now with Caratini and Nance. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Shout out to our female audience, our new subs, all our regulars and our mods, and everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. Julio in the box. Cal Raleigh on deck. We're at 79 on the Dono train, I believe. 21 to go. Pitch is inside, and Julio takes the walk. Great at bat for Julio. All right, we got Julio at first, and this would be a great time for a big dumper, 2-run jack to get us to 5-3. Let's go, Cal. On deck is Josh Naylor. And we're going to have another pitching change potentially. All right, Funderburk is coming in. So another pitching change. All right, Cody Funderburk coming in. And he's a lefty, and I actually would prefer Cal to bat from the right side. It seems like he's seeing the baseball better from the right side rather than the left. And he's got a better chance of hitting a home run from the right side than the left as of late. So Cody Funderburk coming in, and big dumper batting from the right side here momentarily. And I like that. Hopefully that'll work out for us here. All right, come on, Cal. We need you. Bottom of the 7th inning, runner at first, Julio with 2 outs. We scored 2 runs in the first, 1 in the second, but Haven't been able to get anything since. This would be a great opportunity with one swing to be able to either keep the inning alive with a single or a double. But if you can get a hold of a nice pitch down the middle, 5-3, we end up taking the lead. That could be enough to win. Yeah, she was barking earlier. All right, 8 subs to go to 24,500. We're at 79 on the dono train, 21 to go, I believe. Gained a couple more subs, 6 more to go to 24,500. Three games back at the moment, but that doesn't mean that we can't catch up. And we're at 116 likes. Thank you so much. 84 to 200. Come on, Cal. We're knotted up at 3 here in the bottom of the 7th with Julio at first with 2 outs. Funderburk just coming into the game for the Twins, the lefty. And Cal Raleigh flips from the left side to the right. And obviously last year he was stronger with the left than the right side, but he improved his batting average from the right side tremendously. And as of late, he's actually seeing the baseball a little bit better from the right side. We'll see what happens here. No spamming the chat. Hard hit ball, smoked into left field, but foul out of play. 0-1 count. Funderburk on the mound, big dumper in the box. 0-1 pitch, low and away, hitting the corner with the strike zone with the sweeper. No balls at 2 strikes with a runner at first. Julio Rodriguez with 2 outs. Funderburk on the mound. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh in the box. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Cal. That's unfortunate. And that is out number 3. All right, we go to the top of the 8th inning and see who's up next year for Minnesota. And again, we've been able to score early in the last couple games, but we haven't been able to find a rhythm late in the game. Hopefully Cole Young can end up being the hero. I know I can count on him more times than not. All right, let's go to the top of the 8th and see who's up next year for the Twins. Next up, in the 9 hole, 0 for 2, right fielder Austin Martin. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a run, RBI and a K, left fielder Trevor Larnach. And batting third, 0 for 3 in the 2 hole. DHing today, Ryan Jeffers. Trident's up. Let's go, Elms. And Gilbert's at 96 pitches, so we'll see who comes in. Hopefully Gabe Spire. It's either him or Rucker. We'll find out who. Oh, that's easy. Ken Griffey Jr. I met him when I was 7, so when you end up, meeting your hero besides my dad, and you end up meeting him in his rookie year in 1989, and you get the rookie card signed, and you have the photos with junior and senior. His dad was there as well. It definitely will make you a fan for life. So, he will always be my favorite player and favorite athlete out of any sport. And I was blessed enough to meet Sandy Koufax as well when I was 10. So, to meet one of the best left-handed hitters and one of the best left-handed pitchers I have a thing, obviously for left-handed athletes, even though I am right-handed, but, to be able to meet Griffey and Koufax was special. And honestly, if I didn't meet Griffey at 7 in his rookie year in 89 and Koufax in 92 when I was 10, who knows if I, end up doing, sports as far as streaming for a career. Maybe I do video games instead. So it definitely had a big impact on my life. All right, top of the 8th inning. And they ended up going with Gabe Spire, and hopefully this is the right choice. First pitch in there for a strike, right down the middle, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, line drive up the middle. Hard throw to first. Got him. Wow. Cole Young, are you fucking kidding me, man? There's not very many players that could have made that play. And again, Cole Young is my favorite player on the team besides Julio Rodriguez. And, it's just amazing to be able to see, how great of a defensive player Cole Young is, the best on the team. And again, he's only in his sophomore season. He's just going to get better and better. And to me, he's going to end up being a guy that will make the all-star team year in and year out. And again, a very, very special type of player. First pitch to Larnach, a line drive laser into right field and foul. Thank God. 0-1 count. Nice job there by Cole Young. Making plays like Jeter. It's incredible. First pitch to Larnach with that laser out of play. 0-1 count. On deck is Ryan Jeffers. Yeah, this one's called August, just like the month that we're in. He's a super talented guy. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of beats that I would like to be able to showcase, but they don't really fit a sports stream. He can do any type of style, so I try to find stuff that I feel that would vibe best, with baseball and football and sports and whatnot. But he's a very talented individual. 2-1 pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike from Gabe Spire to Trevor Larnach. Three-one pitch, low and away, just missing the strike zone, and that ends up being a walk. Come on, Gabe. He's actually 23. He just had a birthday. A couple days ago. But it's been a long time since I've really, liked an infield player as much as him. But again, I'm a defensive kind of guy, so. And I think a lot of fans will be enjoying Colt Emerson next year when he gets better offensively, but he's got a lot of defense in him as well, so. It's just about being a complete player. Julio and Cole Young are complete players, offense and defense. And, we get some players that are one-sided like Randy. And it definitely hurts the team when, you only play one side of the ball. So unless he was our everyday DH, and then it would be fine. But pop-up's good. Ground balls and hustle, not so much for Randy. No balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Jeffers. 0-2 pitch. And a broken bat, little blooper into right. And Larnach is in there. Now they got runners at first and second with 1 out. Yeah, he's got a SoundCloud, and he does some stuff on social media and whatnot. I get access to like the behind the scenes stuff that nobody else gets access to. So something called the Untitled app, and then all his library is in there. So but I don't know if all of the stuff that he does is on there. You know, a lot of the stuff that's exclusive that, you know, that I get access to and really nobody else. So, you know, but he's an up and coming producer here in the Pacific Northwest. You know, we used to work together on the phones, you know, doing phone sales for like big companies, you know, doing phone, internet, and cable for, you know, Verizon and other businesses in like New York and Boston. And, you know, we've been friends for quite a long time. And I always knew out of the friend group, you know, that chances are that me and him would more than likely have the most success as long as we were disciplined to kind of stick with our dreams and whatnot. So 0-1 pitch, low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike from Spire to Clemens. One pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Spire to Clemens. Yeah, really the difference, you know, between Cole and Colt is that Colt hasn't figured it out how to be patient in the box yet. He needs a little bit more reps and a little bit more patience, but I do believe he could have a breakout year, just like Cole Young did this year and Colt Emerson's sophomore season next year. You know, and if that's the case, then we'll have Cole, Colt, and Julio that we can rely on offensively and defensively. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Spire to Clemens. Two pitch, popped up and out of play. No, but it's always good, you know, when you have dreams and goals, and then you got friends that have dreams and goals, and you try to help them out as well. You know, instead of being a hater and you know, just hoping that, you know, they don't do better than you and whatnot. So, you know, everyone's got something that they're great at. You know, you just got to be able to find your lane, and then once you find your lane and what you're good at, stick with it. You know, and you don't give up no matter what. 2-2 pitch, little dribbler right in front of the plate there of Mitch Garver. Count still remains 2 balls, 2 strikes, runners at first and second, and 1 out. Top of the 8th, 3-3 Twins and Mariners. You know, I've been doing this for, you know, 14 years. This is my 10th year on YouTube, you know, and there was a lot of people that that doubted me and whatnot. But, you know, again, if you believe in yourself, you got a strong work ethic, you got good people around you, you know, and you believe in yourself, and obviously you have to have talent, you know, but again, on top of that, you know, it's just about that grind and that work ethic and that determination to be successful. You know, as long as you don't give up, you know, you're going to be able to do it. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Cody Clemens, and that is 2 away. Big strikeout there. Nice job there by Gabe Spire. Got to be able to keep these runners stranded. And it looks like Gabe is coming out. But who are they bringing in? Or are they just going to have a mound visit? All right, Gabe is done, and they're going to bring in Mooney for the last out and for a 9th inning appearance. Interesting. Hope it works out. All right, Andres Munoz trying to get a 4-out finish here. All right, top of the 8th with runners at first and second with 2 outs. And we used to do, you know, 4-out possibilities, you know, last season with Mooney a few times, but not a whole lot this year. You know, and hopefully he'll be able to get Royce Lewis out, who's up next with runners at first and second, keep the game at 3-3, and then hopefully we can find a way to take a lead 4-3 in the 8th or the 9th and win the game, you know, whether it be 4-3 or 5-4. But I mean, this is a game that we desperately need to win after, you know, kind of, you know, blowing the game yesterday with Ferrer, Bazardo, and Randy's defense and left. So. And again, you know, I told Brooks years ago, you know, if he would just, you know, be disciplined with it, But again, I think at times he doubted himself, and now he's been able to upgrade his equipment, to top tier equipment, and I'll sometimes even donate some money his way for new sound packs to give him more beats to work with, for his creativity. And I like being able to see my friends have success and win. And Busta Rhymes reached out to him a few years ago and was listening to his beats. Nothing ever came to it. A lot of these rappers and artists sometimes will end up stealing beats from artists that aren't as well known or producers, but thankfully Busta did not do that. But at least to be able to have someone famous reach out to you and acknowledge that your stuff is good, obviously was maybe the starting point of him maybe starting to believe in himself, and then again, all it takes is one person that's famous to buy a beat for $5 to $10 grand. And then at that point, you could end up not working a full-time job and just focusing on the beats. And, once you start building relationships with, hip hop artists or artists that are out in the world, then you could actually make it a full-time gig. So. First pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away, 0-1 count. Yeah, and Busta actually listened to some of his stuff that was on SoundCloud a couple years ago. So, rappers still, are still looking at SoundCloud for, under the radar producers and whatnot. So that's how Busta actually found him then at that point. So pitch is low and away, 1-1 strike from Mooney to Lewis. But it's hard to break out if you live in Oregon or Washington. It's not like you get a lot of producers or rappers or artists that break through, out of Oregon and Washington. It's pretty difficult. But again, if you don't quit, good things can happen. Pitch is low and away. 2-1 strike from Mooney to Lewis. 2-1 pitch. Hard hit ball. Fading foul. Count now is 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Top of the 8th inning. 3-3 Twins and Mariners. Every once in a blue moon, there'll be someone famous, like Jimi Hendrix or like Nirvana and Kurt Cobain and whatnot. But again, it's very hard. 2-2 pitch. And that's a line drive, laser towards left field and foul. It's like I got the, biggest sports show on YouTube in Oregon. And then, obviously you want to be able to be the biggest in Oregon and Washington, and then eventually the biggest on the West Coast, Oregon, Washington, and California. And, again, it's kind of a way for me to pay homage to him and also to be able to get more people to be able to listen to his incredible talent and creativity. And again, I know there's going to be good things coming to both of us in the future. 2-2 pitch, wild pitch. Jesus Christ. And runners end up advancing to second and third. Come on, Mooney. And again, how good Mooney's going to be in the first 7 pitches. And right now, looking a little shaky. I think I would have rather stuck with Gabe Spire for the 8th and then brought Mooney in the 9th. But again, that's Dan Wilson. Sometimes he brings in the wrong guy at the wrong time and sometimes keeps a guy in too long. And again, this is the issue that we have with Dan Wilson and sometimes with Dipoto. When guys get hurt like JP and Luke Raley, you're bringing in the wrong guys like Leo Rivas and, guys that are, that aren't, as good as others that are still there. 3-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Got him. And there we go. After a wild pitch, Mooney gets it done. Thank God, man. Because again, if you're going to bring in Mooney for 4 outs, I assume that he'll be back out there in the 9th unless they have someone else in mind. But I assume that's what they're going to do. But thankfully, he doesn't blow the game there. And he's been the most reliable guy in our bullpen. Spire, Bizzardo, Ferrer, unreliable, even though they are talented, and obviously with, Brash and Criswell and Vargas still hurt. And then you guys got like Rucker and Simpson and Hoppy and Davila that have at times been okay, but let's be real, they're AAA guys. They're not the same level as a Vargas or a Criswell or a Brash, and honestly, they're not willing to call up Kate Anderson or Ryan Sloan yet to help us in the pen. So, and we'll see if we can end up getting guys like Morejon from the Padres and the deadline possibly to give us a little bit of depth, unless we're lucky enough to get Mason Miller, but I don't know if that's even possible. He might end up just staying on the Padres. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 8th and let's see if we can take the lead and not look back. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 3 with a K. First baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting second, 0 for 1 with an RBI with 2 walks, catcher Mitch Garver. And batting third, 0 for 3 with 3 Ks, third baseman Weston Wilson. And then this will be Brandon Donovan, and Wilson will go back to AAA and hone his skills for the Tacoma Rainiers. But we desperately need Brandon Donovan. We haven't had him since like the first month of the season, and that's been another reason why things have gone kind of sideways for us, besides the injuries and the poor managing by Dan Wilson. All right, let's find a way to get this done, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Bottom of the 8th, we're tied at 3, and a must-win game here for Seattle. Gained a couple more subs during the commercial break. Thank you so much. We're only 4 subs away from 24,500, 504 away from 25,000. 6.2 million views and counting. Next goal will be 7 million views. I believe we're at 79 on the Dono train, 21 more to go, I believe. And let's see where we're at on the likes. We're at 125, 75 more to 200. Taylor Rogers coming in. First pitch by Rogers to Naylor, low and away, 1-0 count. Yeah, that's the teams are calling, Dank. So it's not only Emerson Hancock and Luis Castillo, now interest in Kirby and Randy. And honestly, I could care less about Castillo. If Hancock needs to go, so be it. Randy, I would gladly see him go. And Kirby, I would be the one I would want to keep unless we get Seiya Suzuki, Mason Miller type of talent in return. And Naylor with a little bloop single. There we go. Naylor getting the party started. Nice bloop single there by Naylor. And next up in the 7-hole, catcher Mitch Garver. Yeah, he's working with a few kind of lower in artists and whatnot, trying to get his name out there. But again, obviously, it's very difficult to break through, in the music scene as a producer, singer, or rapper. And again, you just got to be able to be vigilant, in your dreams and goals. And we have each other's backs. And again, obviously, when you have someone that knows what it takes to be able to make something out of nothing, like I have here, we're going to support each other through and through. But nobody has access, besides me, as far as, being able to put that new stuff out there on the daily. Throw to second. And Naylor is safe. Let's go. Nice job by Nails. I was a little scared there he was going to get thrown out, but gets to second base and gets a runner in scoring position with no outs. Let's go. I wouldn't mind, a sack bunt, but, Garver isn't really the guy to do it. Appreciate that, Smooth. I mean, anybody that's ever tried to make beats or sing or rap or, play an instrument, it's not easy, And even being a successful streamer, I mean, it's, one thing, if you're famous or, you're connected, and you have a lot of money or you're rich or, famous people that can get you plugged in. But if you're not, and you're just trying to build something from the ground up, it could be incredibly challenging, but if you're mentally strong and, you keep at it, good things can happen. And Garver with a challenge here. There we go. Good challenge. Pitch is low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes rather than strike 3. Three-two pitch and a hard hit ball towards third and out of play. And Brooks is so talented. He can do anything. He could do runway music for models, overseas. He could do stuff for movies, TVs, or commercials. He can do stuff for rap, hip hop, reggae, EDM. You name it, he could do it. He's like that talented. He started playing piano when he was like, 4 or 5 years old. So, he definitely has it in his blood. And a little slow dribbler towards third. Would like to see Garver hustle a little bit. Kind of a slow-ass attempt there by Garver. I know he's not the fastest guy, but could have showed a little bit more hustle there. But at least Naylor gets to third and ends up moving him over. But I always love to be able to, support, people that have dreams and goals rather than put them down or hate on them, which, it seems like kind of a regular occurrence that you see in the world nowadays, like, oh, well, but not better than me kind of attitude. And that's a horrible attitude to have. And Weston Wilson with a little slow dribbler right to the pitcher. Terrible at bat there for Weston. And again, I can't wait for Brendan Donovan to be back, for Wilson to go to AAA, because, he's not only a liability, defensively at third, he's started to cool off lately now in the box. All right, next up is Colt Emerson. And if we can get to Cole Young, we can win this game. And hopefully Emerson can find a way to get on, either with a single, double, or an unexpected home run. And, oh my God, Ref Snyder's coming in? You got to be kidding me. What is Dan doing? And these are the fucking moves that I'm talking about. My God. That's why Dan needs to be fired. And every once in a blue moon, Rob will, do something back off the foul pole, but again, doing something good one time out of 100 fucking at-bats, is that really worth, the opportunity? Okay, so they're walking Ref Snyder. Unbelievable. Really? Ref Snyder stinks. Do they not know this? And now Cole Young, who's our most clutch hitter on the team, gets a chance to win the game. I don't know if the Twins are brain dead, but thank you. My God. Do they not realize Cole Young with runners in scoring position is above 300, and with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, he's batting over 400? Thank you. I mean, he's not going to come up big every time, but they don't call him clutch for nothing. I am so confused why they didn't pitch to Rob. Are you kidding me? I mean, again, if they don't know, I thought Dan was the dumbest, that was out there, but apparently he may not be. All right, Taylor Rogers on the mound, and let's see if Cole Young can find a way to be a hero here. I'm just bamboozled that they wouldn't go at Rob. Okay, I mean, and now Leo Rivas is pinch running for Rob. And Leo is obviously on the team for J.P. Crawford, but, why not bring up Lazaro Montes or specifically Michael Arroyo? It just seems like they always bring up the wrong guy, when we need help, and they bring in guys that aren't doing good in AAA. And that's why DePoto and Wilson need to go. They may understand how to develop pitching, but it's more than that. It's the day-to-day routine, on hitting. They don't know how to evaluate hitters, and they're not very bright. They do know how to evaluate pitchers. I'll give them that. Come on, Cole. Be a hero. First pitch into Cole. Takes a strike. High and away. 0-1 count. Come on, Cole. My favorite player on the team. Love the offense. Love his defense. Love his attitude. Superstar in the making. 0-1 pitch. Low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cole Clutch Young. Could end up being the best player on the team, and that's a bold statement. I love Cole Young, love Julio, and I think, the next guy that I'm really going to, love, if I don't already, is Cade Anderson. Special players. 1-1 pitch. And Young with a little slow dribbler. Toe tap on the bag, and unfortunately, Cole cannot come up with the big hit. That's unfortunate. And that is the end of the 8th inning. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors apiece. And who knows if this is going to go into extras or if we're going to win in the bottom of the 9th. But unfortunate. Cole usually comes up big in that situation. But again, baseball is hard. And sometimes it's not going to be, coming up big in every big situation. But then missed opportunity there. All right, let's go to the top of the 9th and see who's up next here for Minnesota. And I hope we can find a way to win this game 4-3. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And again, Cole, was a little overly aggressive in his previous at-bat. Getting out on the first pitch was very odd for him. And then normally, with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, usually he's lights out. especially in the 7th inning and beyond. But again, just because you got runners in scoring position, doesn't mean that you're going to come up with that hit or RBI or home run every time. But more times than not, Cole does deliver, but unfortunately there wasn't able to do it. All right, we're going to the top of the 9th inning. Rivas is playing shortstop now. And let's see who's up next here for the Twins. Next up for the Twins, 1 for 3 with a run, third baseman Brooks Lee. Batting second in the 6th hole, center fielder Luke Keeschel. And batting third in the 7th hole, catcher, the former Astro Victor Caratini. Trident's up, let's go M's. And then I assume that this is still going to be Mooney. They're still kind of bamboozled that they didn't pitch to Rob. And then, it still worked out for them. But more times than not, that usually will go in our favor. And Mooney only had 7 pitches. But let's see what happens here. But definitely curious to see if we move, Luis Castillo, obviously Emerson Hancock, Luke Raley was attached to those guys, but he just went to the injured list. And so they probably won't trade him. And I don't think anyone will be that interested if you got a left forearm strain. And a little dribbler up the middle. And Rivas can't make the play. And why is Rivas in the game instead of Colt Emerson? Why didn't Colt have a chance to have that at bat? And I know Colt has struggled a little bit, in the box, but just kind of makes you scratch your head with some of these moves that Dan Wilson is making. And got hurt, and I get it. But if he didn't, you're putting in a guy that hasn't been very good defensively or offensively in AAA. Was he pretty good last year? Yeah. We hung on to Dylan Moore, for 3 or 4 months too long, and finally brought Leo up when he was playing well. But this year, he's not doing very good in the farm in AAA, and kind of made you scratch your head when they brought him up for JP Crawford. And I get it, they can play similar positions, but Michael Arroyo would have been better, especially with the emergence of Brandon Donovan coming back to the team soon. All right, next up is Luke Keeschel. I agree. We need a lot of this Soto Mojo and Mariner Moose to help us here. Top of the 9th with a runner at first with no outs. First pitch right down the middle there by Andres Munoz. 0-1 count. Mooney on the mound, Keeschel in the box. Yeah, it was a dumb decision, you think, in hindsight, but it worked for them, Dank, right? Maybe they didn't know, how bad Rob has been struggling lately, or maybe they thought that he would do something like he did against the Dodgers. Sometimes, when you're hot as of late, things carry over. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, but again, Rob usually does something every 50 games. So, what were the chances that Rob would have come up with a home run or an RBI? I guess we'll never know. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Mooney to Keeschel. Come on, Mooney. 1-2 pitch. And a little blooper there that goes out of play. Slider 86 miles an hour there by Andres Munoz. Right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Top of the 9th, 3-3 Twins and Mariners. I wouldn't mind a strikeout, or even better, a slow dribbler up the middle for a double play, but can Leo Rivas make the fucking play? We'll see. 1-2 pitch. And double play. Fuck, no attempt. And a strong throw from third to second, but that's it. And that is 1 out and 1 away. Got to get Weston Wilson off this team. But just in time to make the play. No time for a double play. Fielder's choice with the runner out. Lee out at second. Keeschel safe at first with 1 out. Still could be in the play for a double play here to end the inning. Next up is Victor Caratini, the former Astro. We remember. First pitch, low and at the knees, but hitting the bottom of the strike zone supposedly. Looked more like a ball to me, but we'll take it. 0-1 count. Top of the 9th, runner at first with 1 out. We're knotted up at 3. Trident's up. Let's go M's. throw to first and safe. And Weston was doing pretty good offensively, for us for a little bit, but has kind of cooled off and now is a liability defensively at third. Better than Connor Joe and Rob Refsnyder, but that's not really saying a whole lot. I would rather have Johnny Pareda on this team, getting a chance to be able to hit for us and be backup catcher over Garver, but apparently the organization is too stupid to realize who's talented and who isn't. Johnny Pareda and Michael Arroyo should be on the team right now, as well as Kate Anderson, in my opinion, but, 1 ball and 1 strike from Mooney to Caratini. Pitches low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Mooney to Victor Caratini. Top of the 9th, runner at first with 1 out. Andres Munoz on the mound. Victor Caratini, the former Astro, in the box. But he did have some moments, though, Weston did. But once you start fucking up on defense and then you can't hit anymore, then, your time is done. 2-1 pitch. Low and at the knees, starting to miss the corners here. 3 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out. Come on, Mooney. Mooney's looking a little wild. Last 12 or 13, 14 opportunities have been pretty good for him, but had a little bit of a mini meltdown against the Dodgers, but we still won. 3-1 pitch, finally hits the strike zone there. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Mooney to Caratini. But when Mooney's lights out, when he's getting ahead of the count 0-2, he strikes out a batter or two, and you just feel it, the aura and the vibe. But when he's off, that's when he's giving up back-to-back walks, back-to-back hits, or he just can't hit the corners and he's going into the dirt or having wild pitches. And hopefully that's not the case here. 3-2 pitch. That's strike 3. And yes, double play. Yeah! Beautiful play. Gets the strike 3, and Garver with a sensational throw to throw out the runner at second base. And again, I wanted a double play. I didn't know it would be like that, but we'll take it. And now we have the momentum. And now let's see if we can win here in the bottom of the 9th, but they're challenging, I assume. All right, they're going to challenge, but obviously the ball was a strike. And Garver has a beautiful throw here. Close play. Let's look again. If he would have gotten the tag on the left arm, he easily would have been out by a mile, but he tried to kind of maneuver his arm out of the way. If this is Colt Emerson, this is out, easy out. But he might have been able to get his hand in at second, so we might still be playing. First replay, he looked out. Second replay, he looked safe. He moves his left hand out of the way. And again, if Rivas was able to tag the left hand, he would have been out. But the hand kind of goes up, and he tries to kind of contort his body. And then it looks like the hand gets into the bag before the tag. And obviously, when you have a shorter player with shorter arms and shorter legs than Colt Emerson, sometimes that is an issue. Wow, runner is still out after ABS. I don't know about that. To me, it looked like he was kind of safe, honestly. I'm not going to be biased. I'm just going to call it how I see it, but I don't know about that one. That one could have went either way, but it kind of looked like he was safe. But apparently, since he was called out, maybe not enough information to overturn, since they called him out on the play instead of calling him safe, where maybe that would have been the safe call would have stood. But since he was called out on the play by the ump at second, I think not enough information to overturn, or enough video evidence to overturn. And all right, now we got the momentum, and again, we need to find a way to win this game. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 9th and win this game 4-3. Next up, 1 for 3 with 2 runs, an RBI, a base on ball, and a home run, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, 0 for 2 with 2 walks, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. And batting third, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. So we got a good part of the order. It's like you want Young, Arozarena, Canzone, or Julio, or Cal to be hitting in this inning. And, unfortunately, Cole couldn't come up big in the previous inning. But having Randy hitting a home run today, Canzone and Julio, this gives us a good chance to win this game 4-3. And hopefully we do. And we have another afternoon game tomorrow, and hopefully we can win that as well. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Bottom of the 9th inning, 3-3. Mariners. Feels like we're going to win the game 4-3, whether it's in regulation or extras, but we got to earn it. We gained another sub during the commercial break. Appreciate you. 3 subs to go to 24,500. We're at 79 on the Dono train. 21 to go to hit our goal for 100, and we're over 100 likes. So I appreciate you guys. And let's see where we're at on the likes here. We have 318 in the room. We're going to try to get as close to 200 as possible, and we are at 133, 67 to go. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And there's no doubt about it that we're not having a good season, but neither is the Rangers or the Astros. So American League stinks. We're in the worst division in baseball, and we have a very difficult schedule in August. There's no shying away from that. It gets easier in September, and again, we just got to be able to tread water and stay afloat, and anything can happen. First pitch is in there for a strike to Randy, 0-1 count. And if, Randy can play well here, it'll increase his trade value or hopefully help him get hotter if he stays with the Mariners. Probably should end up being our everyday DH so he doesn't give up so many, RBIs and extended, bases and home runs and, runners scoring from first and second from ground balls in his area. But we will see if they'll end up moving Randy, George Kirby, Castillo, or Hancock. Those are the 4 names that are kind of out there right now. 0-2 pitch. Low and into the dirt there by Morris. Cutter missing. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 9th. 3-3, Twins and Mariners. Come on, Randy. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Dominic Canzone on deck. We need a walk-off, baby. 1-2 pitch. And Randy fouls it back to the Fred Meyer T-Mobile brick sign. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 9th, we're tied at 3. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Twins. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Mariners. Brendan Donovan is due back any day now, and that'll help our problem with Weston Wilson at third, since JP and Luke Raley just hit the injured list in back-to-back days, and that could give us an emotional lift, as well as getting some guys at the deadline, which is just a few days away. 1-2 pitch. Randy pops it up behind the plate and out of play. Back to that Fred Meyer T-Mobile brick sign again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody on and no outs. Morris on the mound, Orosarena in the box. Come on, Randy. One-two pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Orosarena. Trident's up. Let's go M's. We desperately need a win today and tomorrow. Come on, Randy. 2-2 pitch. Hard hit ball. Fair. Go, Randy, go. Run, Randy, run, Randy, run. Run. Lead off double by Randy Orosarena. For a moment there, he kind of stopped a little bit, and I thought, don't settle for the single. But again, you got to pick up the speed so that you don't get thrown out, in the outfield there at second. And thankfully, he turned it up just enough in time. Obviously, checking to see if it was fair or foul was a part of it. And thankfully, that ended up being fair. And again, we've always seen issues with ground balls with Randy and left, and then he gives the Twins a little bit of their own medicine. Great job. And if it would have bounced the other way, he might have been able to get a triple out of that. And now we got the game-winning run at second base. Good job, Randy. You should be a DH instead of a left fielder. But I appreciate you hitting-wise. Next up is the Italian Stallion, Dominic Canzone. A Dom bomb for the win would be great. On deck is Julio Rodriguez. And then after that would be Cal Raleigh. Let's go. We got the perfect lineup to win this game. I mean, even bunting and moving guys over, just being able to, small ball this if needed. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. Morris is having a little bit of a meltdown, and I love it. 2 balls and no strikes from Morris to Canzone. Let's go, Dom. We haven't had too many, bright spots this year besides Cole Young and Dominic Canzone, Emerson Hancock and Bryce Miller for a moment, but they kind of gone back to, what we thought they would be. 2-0 pitch in there for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike from Morris to Canzone. Two-one pitch. Canzone, hard hit ball, deep left field. It's caught. Run, Randy, run. Run, Randy. And Randy gets to third just in time. Let's go. All right, there we go. Good job. Deep enough ball to move Randy over. Obviously, we know hustle is an issue with him. And now we got Julio Rodriguez with Randy at third, and then on deck is Cal Raleigh. We're going to win this, baby, 4-3, unless we get a home run to win it 5-3. Let's go. And they're going to bring in another pitcher. Unless they're just having a mound visit here. Looks like they're just having a mound visit for strategy. Let's go, Julio. Julio is such a valuable piece to this team. We saw how bad we played against the Marlins and the Rays without Julio in the lineup. He's the single guy that, if he's not in the lineup, let's be real, we don't win. And Cole Young is very valuable to this team as well. And again, we just need to be able to build this team with more two-way players. And Julio Rodriguez, even though people love to complain and criticize, is there issues with him in the first half of a baseball season? Yeah, there has been issues with him, being a little overly aggressive and not really, being the best at bat, batter, in the box, but obviously no one can complain about his defense. Still one of the best defenders in center field. The best thing that we have since Ken Griffey Jr. in center, and they're going to intentionally walk Julio Rodriguez. Now Julio is at first. But Julio means a lot more to this team than people realize. And I always will be a big Julio and Cole Young supporter. Offense and defense is everything. All right, next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's see if Cal can win it for us. First pitch, Cal. Oh, no. Throw home. Set. We win. We win. We win. Woo! Unbelievable. Cal Raleigh, for a moment there, I said, oh no, double play. And they kind of hesitated on the throw home, and Randy slid in and touched home plate in the nick of time. I mean, that could have went disastrously wrong. I mean, we could have easily had a double play. Momentum would have went back to the Twins, and maybe they win 4-3 in extras. But Cal Raleigh getting a hold of a hard hit ball towards first, and a little bit of a hesitation by the defense. And I don't know how the hell Randy got in there safe, but he did. Whew, unbelievable. Mariners win 4-3. Let's go. And that's one of the more rewarding wins of the season, just like that Dodger victory that we had for the first time in Los Angeles since 2009. Let's go, baby. And I can't say anything crazy like, we're back, because we're not. The American League stinks. But again, that was an amazing play. And again, Randy getting in there safe, give us momentum to win tomorrow. And we got SummerSlam today and tomorrow to be able to watch if you're a wrestling fan as well. So great job there by Randy at Rose Arena. Final score, Mariners 4, Twins 3. Let's go over the stat line for both teams before we end up going. That is one of the more rewarding wins of the season besides that Dodger game. That was the game of the year. All right, Trevor Larnach 1 for 3 with a home run and an RBI. Ryan Jeffers 1 for 4. Cody Clemens 0 for 3. Royce Lewis 1 for 4. Brooks Lee 2 for 4 with a run. Luke Keeschel 1 for 3 with a home run and RBI. Victor Caratini 0 for 4 with a run, or an RBI, excuse me. And Ryan Kreidler 1 for 3, and Austin Martin 0 for 3. And let's go with the Mariners. I got Julio on the mic right now in the post-game show. Cole Young proving that he can play any position, 1 through 9. 2 for 5 with a run, but again, he could have went 4 for 5 today if he was able to come up with some clutch hits with runners in scoring position, but thankfully we still ended up winning the game. Randy Arosarena, 2 for 4 with a 3-run RBI day. Great job, Randy. Dominic Canzone, 0 for 3. Julio Rodriguez, 1 for 3 with an RBI. Cal Raleigh, 0 for 5, but did get that RBI there late. Great job, Cal. Josh Naylor, 1 for 4. Mitch Garver, 0 for 2 with a RBI. Weston Wilson, 0 for 4. And then Colt Emerson, 1 for 3. So, again, you just never know with this team. But, again, we're a very resilient ball club. And, again, if we can get through this season, we can get through anything. This has been the most challenging season and probably in the last 30 or 40 years, considering how talented we are. We made the ALCS last year in Game 7. A lot of World Series expectations, a lot of injuries, poor managing, poor play. But again, we just got to be resilient and, support the club in the most positive fashion that we can. What an amazing win. Final score, Mariners 4, Twins 3. I'll be live tomorrow, same time, same place. Mariners versus Twins at 1:10 Pacific. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Tridents up and go Mariners. And shout out to Chris and Sean and Alex and Brett, as well as Velasco and Christakis, all the individuals that helped out there, as well as all of our mods. I appreciate you very much. All day, TJ and everyone else. Appreciate you. And again, this one feels really, really good. Final score, Mariners 4, Twins 3. Tridents up and go M's.